The world is doomed again. The same thing is happening for the umpteenth time. People are running around. They are screaming, trying to save themselves and their loved ones. The woman does not want this to happen again. She shouts that she will kill the man standing in front of her, but he only smiles evilly. Turning mockingly, the blonde asks who it is in front of him. Of course, a lady who cannot come to terms with reality. Diva does not believe that she will have a chance to save the world. For some reason, the situation repeats itself over and over again. Nothing changes, no matter how she asks. The man, but already with red hair, spreads dark energy that envelops his body from head to toe. It was not possible to meet such a living person before. But the games are over. After all this, it is easiest to leave the body to be eaten by demonic creatures. It is scary to think that a man is destroying the whole world again. He thinks that there is no reason for this. A sword with an aura kills a girl again. The eyes open. The last thing she remembers is a terrible pain that gradually grows in all parts of the body. The lady feels cold. The starry sky is above. She is probably outside. A man who is not even visible at first follows. A voice so familiar asks who is under the gate. His name is Wolf. The girl fought with this character several times, and every time he killed her, now the man grabs the child by the leg to examine it. The baby wants to scream, but for some reason, the words that she will not leave it like that do not come out. Funny, the blonde looks like a mistress. The girl wanted to protest until she realized that her head was too heavy, as well as her body. Her hands became smaller and childlike. Perhaps the lady seems, or the place looks suspiciously familiar. Beyond continues to smile, saying that the baby is very cute, like all babies. The realization begins to come. With each rebirth, the main character became younger and younger. Strangely, every time it was impossible to predict. Now the lady has become quite a baby. This has never happened before. Besides, the problem lies in her appearance in front of the enemy's estate. Wolf carried the child inside the castle, ignoring her gasps with a hint of malice. The girl can't believe that the last hope of this world is carried like a jacket by someone. Bian has always been a distant character. At the entrance, the man is met by a butler named Nick, who noticed that the master returned quite late, usually earlier. The young man clarifies what is in his hands. Wolf only stretches the child forward. The girl's eyes clearly resemble the main character. The assistant clarifies where the master is now. Obviously, he is taking a bath. The child will be taken to him as soon as such an opportunity presents itself. The character always had loyal subordinates, called Black Sea Swords. They will always be on his side, no matter what. By the time the lady can use her power, it is still 10 years. If she dies, having met earlier, she may turn into an embryo altogether. Nick stretched out his hand to pat the child on the head, but she grabbed his finger. Babies always behave strangely. Bian held out his hand and asked to do the same. The girl quickly realized that maybe something would work. Maybe in the future she would be spared if she was obedient. Memories of a man with a sword who laughed at the heroine are clearly visible in his head. Now the same person is smiling. He did not think that innate charm works even on children. Deva shows with all her appearance that she is starting to get tired of this attitude, but it seems that no one listens to her. According to the man, she wanted to call him brother. The blonde shouts that he has great news when the door opens, and Wolf Warren appears. It's time for Bian to learn tact. Goosebumps run over the body. It was the brunette who killed the girl last time. His gaze was, as usual, stern. Clearly he was up to something, but it is not clear what exactly. The baby was holding her hand literally 5 minutes ago. Now the man wants her to do the same now to show how great everything is. The child doesn't know what's next, so it's best to do as they ask. Warren admits that he wants the same, but he doesn't force himself to say it out loud. Further, they again discuss the similarity of the young lady with the master. She does not understand what they are talking about, and only then reaches for the mirror with her hands so that they can look there. The horror is depicted. The hair and eyes look exactly like those of the one who destroyed the empire. It was Adrian Lucas Brandt, who was the one who repeatedly destroyed everything around him. Right in front of the girl is the same person, but for now he doesn't know her and probably won't even kill her. Bian continues to smile, also explaining who he is holding in his arms. His Majesty just passes by. It seems that he is embarrassed, because in front of him is an exact copy of him, Looking menacingly at Wolf, the master orders not to test his patience. The man orders to throw out the baby, despite the fact that it is cold outside. She will not survive there, but he does not care at all. The blonde is angry. You can't order something so terrible and then change your clothes as if nothing had happened. This is considered illegal. The baby makes a crying sound. She stretches her arms forward. At least before she dies, she will try to suffocate the Duke so that he can think next time. The blonde frowns, not quite understanding what the child is doing. Warren, who is nearby, suggests that the lady wants to hold his hand. Never in all her reincarnations has a virgin lived such a short life. She prays that next time everything will be fine. But now she realizes that everything is fine. Lucas asks to forget everything he said before. Bion immediately jumps for joy. Because he believed in His Majesty, perhaps the child will be sent to a dormitory. The woman does not understand what is happening. The swords of the Black Sea do not understand that because of them, the beautiful life of bliss and her happiness were lost forever. The one who destroyed the world with his own hands should not look so cute, and even more so give a name. The daughter will be called Eleonora. The baby woke up. The maids crowded around. Hatred awakens almost immediately. Children are weaker than adults, get a little excited, and immediately cut themselves off. One of the maids asks everyone to leave. She is going to put the baby to sleep, smiling a warm smile. The woman introduces herself as Marcia. Of course, the heroine is happy to serve Ella and hopes that they will get along. The blonde still does not understand what Brant is planning. Something is definitely wrong here. The youngest girl was the first who had the honor of living in the estate, and not in the hostel. Everyone was always sent there unconditionally. The hostess's decision slightly surprised those around her. Marcia herself, of course, is happy with how everything will end. Although, of course, she is still a little worried. Only now did the lady remember that there is a hostel on the territory where all the orphans are sent. They are trained to create living weapons. After long and persistent training, the boys grow into loyal subordinates who are obliged to protect at all costs and move forward. There is also the other side of the coin. If someone does not live up to expectations, they get rid of them, not giving them the opportunity to leave and live at least on the streets. Marcia promises that she will raise the baby properly. If she grows up to be a beautiful lady and lives up to the expectations of the owner, she will not be sent to a terrible dormitory for anything. The girl did not know that the place was so terrible. The strangeness of this reincarnation is gaining momentum. It is impossible to expect anything in advance. A week has passed since the heroine began to live in the devil's estate. The beauty realizes that everything is a waste of time. She doesn't stop thinking that she has to kill Lucas as soon as possible. She can't cool down, thinking that it can wait. Now the lady cannot awaken her power, but it is possible to at least make demands. A discerning look will be later. In the past, the lady was able to see objects that were out of sight. Now the lady, too, almost did not wake up, and was able to learn a lot about the inhabitants of the estate. The baby concentrated, trying to get closer with the help of consciousness. Suddenly the door opened. Warren was standing there. He ruined everything. The man stretches out his hand. Probably learned everything, and now wants to know something. His ego is strong enough to calmly kill with one finger. The girl grabs her finger, hoping that it will break. She would not want to die like that. But it seems that there is no choice in any case. Only now did the main character realize that there was no energy. She used very little mana. She almost fell asleep. She was too tired. As the wolf thought, the girl looks like a duke. However, it is impossible to treat her like other children, because there is something else. It is assumed that Lucas also likes Eleanor. Entering the office, the young man encountered the stern look of the manager, who asks where he was. It seems that the child liked everything, so the man went there. However, it is difficult to prove that this is not part of an evil conspiracy by Korea. The wolf continues to watch the girl. He behaved carelessly. That demon is a threat to the Duke's life. A child who gets into the estate can be a spy. Eleonora means managed. This name suits her very well. Marcia and Bayan are in the baby's room. The maid had to explain that it is dangerous to ride horses, because they are not old enough yet. The blonde is fed up. She just wants no one to touch her. Ella raises her hand to show that she wants to go to the toilet. The maid freezes with tears in her eyes. Other people's children grow up quickly. She is still delighted with how everything ended. Eleonora hates those who are in front of her, but she is not going to shine every day in front of her enemies, so it is easier to stay in the room. It is difficult to be of such an age. The door slammed. The inhabitants of the estate are tactless. They do not care that there is a child in the house. Barbacha and Michaela are standing on the threshold. Memories flash before their eyes. Not the most pleasant ones. It becomes scary. The red-haired one squats down, noticing that the baby looks a lot like the Duke, exactly the same face. A woman standing nearby hits the boy on the head with her fan. You have to be more careful. The child is so small it scares him. The man takes Eleonora by the hand and immediately jumps back. She is soft, although it is not clear what he expected. Considering that they have a baby in front of them, the body gradually goes out of control. Sometimes the virgin does not even feel how saliva starts to flow from her mouth. This is also annoying. Michaela thought for a second and came to the conclusion that the child understands what they are talking about. To put it simply, they have a young genius in front of them. The red-haired man offers to look at his axe, one movement of his hand, and his head will fall from his shoulders. Smiling, the lady screams in her mind, not understanding why she is saying this out loud. They tell the truth. All the insides of the human being are exposed to the child. Apparently, the most stupid people got into Swords of the Black Sea. The woman carefully looks at the girl. She smiles, because it is obvious that she looks like Brant. Maybe she should be adopted. It is impossible not to say that the child is cute. She is different from everyone who has come before this. Baha looks skeptically at her friend. None of the children she took away survived. One more cannot be sacrificed. Not listening to anything, the red-haired girl picks up the baby in her arms. She has already decided everything. There is no way back. You need to take Ella home. If he is telling the truth, His Majesty does not care about the baby. He will not even notice her absence. The friend disagrees. Lucas even gave her a name, which was a little unexpected. But it is obvious that the child was left nearby to find out why her eyes are red. There is a chance that before them is a spy sent by Korea. Maybe the plan is that she will grow up to be a beautiful girl who will enter the closest trust of the Duke. I don't want to think that then the girl will pierce his heart when a lucky chance comes. As Bliss thought, Michaela's incredible wisdom cannot be underestimated. It is necessary to get rid of the extra eyes as soon as possible. Baha takes the child in his arms, shouting that what he is saying is unacceptable. My friend has never managed to raise someone. The woman defends herself as best she can. Godia, like Kurvana, has also grown a lot. Obviously, we are talking about carnivorous plants. Growing a child and plants are completely different things. The point is to think about it. Most likely, there is no and will not be. Anyway, Ella will be taken away. You just need to ask Lucas. The door opened. Steps were heard, and a voice asking what was happening. Castiel, one of the loyalists from the Alliance, was on the threshold. The man immediately shouts that the abnormal woman next to him tried to seduce the beauty, although he says that everything is completely wrong. While the two are arguing, the lady examines the newcomer. The young man is a great general and a brilliant military strategist. In every past life, he always stood in the way of Bliss. Genius cannot be underestimated. Maybe the others have their flaws, but he, most likely, will reveal the true personality of Eleonora. A pleasant sweet aroma is coming from Castiel, probably some poisonous object inside. Maybe he knew that they were facing an enemy. Now the scariest thing is to realize that the young man will use some kind of hidden weapon. The girl does not want to die early and will fight. Instead of a knife, the brunette took out something small and put it in the lady's mouth. It turned out that she managed to taste the sweetness available only to aristocrats. Several times the main character could afford it, but she couldn't get enough of them. Chocolate is something special. The baby stretches her arms because she was attracted by the sweetness. Barbaku is asked to give the child in her arms, since she so wants. This is not a scam, but just a mutual barter. Nothing strange. Ella was given what she wanted, and in return, the girl returns the favor. For friends, such a thing is strange. The child grabbed the captain's hair. They immediately tried to justify it, because it was not done out of malice. The man was asked not to expel the little girl. She is really not to blame. The girl froze. She did not notice that she had done something similar. In another way, the lady cannot express her thoughts. Ella just wanted to get more chocolate. But in the end, she didn't get anything. Marcia came into the room. It was time to change clothes and get ready for bed. The maid asks not to give too many sweets. This is not allowed for babies. It might make them sick. Castiel remains unperturbed. He was just doing what the girl wanted. Nothing terrible will happen. The maid is still trying to resist. You should be a little more careful with the child. The woman stretches out her arms to take the blonde back into her arms. The brunette agrees. One cannot harm the one whom His Majesty has sheltered. The maid takes good care of her ward. If Ellie grows up and offends the Duke, the Black Sea Sword will kill both her and Marcia. All three left. The door closed. Deciding that it is time to relax a little, the lady asks for forgiveness that her aunts and uncles scared her. She needs to change her diaper and clothes in order to rest. The girl promises that she will definitely take care of Ella. Nothing will threaten her. She should not even worry about it. Castiel remembers the moment when he held Eleonora in his arms. Bach and Mikkel didn't notice it, but there was energy there. The girl knows how to hide it. The young man promises himself that if he sees something suspicious, he will definitely kill the child. Not allowing him to get closer, he opened the door. The man goes to the hostess. The brunette reports that he finally met Eleonora. She's pretty cute. But, not to mention, hidden magic was spotted. If the grain grows skillfully, it may well become Hadrian's strongest weapon. And if the stars align, it will help him rise to the highest level. It's good that the name has already been given. If everything doesn't end well, it will still be possible to control the girl, even remotely. The man thinks he doesn't know how everything will go on, but he wants to hope for a good ending. Bliss has nightmares again, no matter how life changes. The lady just wanted to protect her past. But now her lover doesn't even know about Ella's existence. March was called by the maids who were in the room. The little girl started spinning and screaming. Maybe she is hungry. She needs to be picked up. The second maid takes the blonde to her, asking why such a beautiful lady is crying. She will probably be the most beautiful on the continent when she grows up. There is already a picture of the wonderful Eleonora in the presentation, which will attract the attention of everyone you meet. The baby does not want to be appeased with flattery, but she still gives in and smiles a little. It was not bad for her. Footsteps were heard. The Duke appeared on the threshold, who rudely asked what was happening. He had appointed only one maid to nurse. The brunette, the oldest of all, begs for forgiveness. They decided that since she is Lucas's daughter, more attention should be paid. The girl sees how everyone apologizes for naming the child Brant. Tears well up in her eyes. The little girl does not understand what right the Duke has to scare others. Ellie begins to cry, although they try to calm her down. It seems that nothing is working as it should. The woman is not sure why such a sudden change of mood. Marcia does not know why. Even though she was appointed as the responsible person, it is obvious that she is absolutely useless, since everything has turned out like this. The blonde didn't like that. She jumps up aggressively, pushing the man to the side. It's better to stay away from innocent people. The voice imperceptibly became much softer when the Duke asks what happened. The woman lowers her head. It is obvious that the young man was confused to call him father. It is necessary to shout in order to let it be known that everything was completely wrong. As it was said, the thief pulls his hand, although he deserves to receive it in full. Bliss waves her hands. Although nothing really works, the brat just needs to be taught manners. The master holds out his hand to take the baby. The maid right away helpfully asks if Adrian wants to hold the baby. Anyway, a young lady definitely needs a father's love. If you don't build a stable and strong relationship with her, she will grow up insecure. Marcia and Lucas may even be able to replace Ella's mother and father. Although this is not necessary now, the girl still needs to be held in her arms. Castell appeared behind, and even he was holding the beauty in his arms, it's worth remembering. And it was quite good, even cute. All the same, Bliss has no friends here. She will have to resist on her own. She beats her hands, not understanding what needs to be done so that they do not fall behind her. One of the maids explains what is happening as a feeling of joy overwhelming the girl. They all seem to be crazy. As you know, children do not immediately learn to keep balance, so when they are overwhelmed by emotions, they often start to spread their hands. Ella is transferred back to Marcia. Lucas must wait, because when the power returns, the main character will do everything she set her mind to. One of the women wanted to offer something, but froze as soon as she saw the fleeting but warm smile of the Duke. This is something from the category of fiction. The main meeting began. The little girl did not understand why she had to attend it. She was put on her knees. The aristocrats, sitting on both sides of the table, first dusted themselves off for a long time, and then began to ask uncomfortable questions. It is tiring to hear the same nonsense. In general, it is possible to address her like that. But the girl has a name that was chosen. Bliss is kicking more and more. She wants to be released. Bayan quietly notices that the child does not stop fiddling in his arms, it seems, or something is still wrong. This, of course, is not fully understood. The blonde is calmly smiling. In fact, the daughter is showing that she likes him. Unfortunately, the lady can't say it with words, but that's not true. It is impossible to believe what a man is carrying. Because of this, the little girl starts laughing. The aristocrats pick up. It means that a young princess has appeared. From this day on, everything will be like that. Michaela nods, agreeing, although she actually hopes that soon they will be alone with her. Warren, standing next to him, extends his hand so that the baby can grab her finger. Bian immediately asks if it is possible for him to be held too. Not only the brunette is allowed. His Eminence stares menacingly ahead. His assistant has obviously forgotten their conversation and must remain silent. The wolf immediately takes his hand away. Diva thinks that what is happening again is a waste of time. They wave their hands in front of her, but the hall is not visible at all. There is nothing left but to take my father's hand, too. It's time for a discussion. It won't hurt to learn more about the political situation in the world. The old man gets up. It's time to prepare for Princess Reina's birthday. It's very important to attract the emperor's attention. The great princess is the only daughter of the monarch, and the main reason for the fall of the entire kingdom. Lucas is under the influence of the head. Reina and Adrian got married. But in the end, the girl betrayed him. Bliss still does not know what made her take this step. Although there were rumors about the blonde as a selfish, windy woman, all this seems strange. Lucas chuckles. If you need to give her a present, it's better to send some jewelry. The young man deserves betrayal. Since he's behaving like this, he's completely indifferent. The aristocrat noticed that his lordship could not concentrate on the meeting and asked to take the baby out of the room. Carden has not yet understood the words of the head. Eleonora is his precious daughter, a young princess. She has every right to attend meetings. The man doesn't deny it, but it's not quite the right thing to do. The Duke must understand everything. Reina's birthday is the perfect moment to draw attention to himself. The words give an idea that the man is not simple. Roa is the right hand of Lucas, the most loyal ally, capable of many things. The old man has a heart of stone and incredible strategic thinking. Even the emperor himself recognizes him as a military genius. Michaela decides to protect the hostess. Roa's voice has deteriorated with age, because the Duke clearly said that they have a new princess. Carden is smiling. Maybe they're trying to send him to the other world. His character is still the same. No matter how stupid Lucas looks, he is the founder of the Swords of the Black Sea. A man can get rid of a loved one who stands in his way, even a genius of strategy. But Bach asks everyone to calm down, even though it doesn't quite work. Castiel wonders why the old man is constantly worried about what is happening. He can't do that. He can't treat a person whom no one knows like a princess. A faithful servant in the third generation stood before the people. He will not allow anything to destroy something great. The words were interrupted by laughter. The brunette asks for forgiveness, but still believes that he did the right thing, stopped the stupid stories. The meeting should continue. The old man scolds the interlocutor with an evil look, but still chuckles. It seemed to him that he is the best in his business. However, it seems that he was mistaken. There is a hint of something here, but the young man does not understand. Castiel, like everyone else, noticed that now words will lead to something bad. Roa must be well aware of what happens to people who don't want to obey. The blonde noticed in horror. The person will put an end to all of them. The death of the Carden family will mean the death of the main brain of the duchy. Lucas has so many enemies, it will only get worse. If there is no Roa, who always remains nearby, and if he does not calculate everything in advance, all these enemies will immediately decide to attack. Something will go wrong. Eleonora's life will also be in danger. The old man lowers his voice, asking if anyone has heard about the lands of Rohan. This is the name of the southernmost region near the Krafia continent, and that place is also considered to be the home of dragons, large creatures. Deserts and forests alternate there with glades, hence the name the Lands of the Freed. Everyone knows about those lands. The man does not understand what the meaning is because he initially raised a completely different question about the loyalty of his lordship. Roa asks to listen to him carefully. The Duke must go to the lands of Rohan. This is something that cannot be escaped. The deed will be made in the name of the entire Brant family. It is very important for Lucas to strengthen relations with the imperial family as much as possible. The birthday of the great princess is the best moment for rapprochement. According to the strategy, it is necessary to start with her. There is no second choice. The baby is considered to be an extremely squeamish lady, and this instills fears that if she gives just jewelry, it will not matter to her. The old man offers to find some important trinket. This is how they will be able to win an impregnable heart. The lands of Rohan have not yet been explored. Ordinary people cannot withstand those conditions, and the Duke has one of the strongest armies in the entire empire. As soon as Lucas explores that place and finds something there, he will be able to get a huge benefit from it. The man is right. That's how it happened in the past life. Kramer found treasures in the territories of his domain, and thereby attracted the attention of Reyna. Yet you cannot deny the eruditeness of Roa. You need to stay close to him. Instead of a normal reaction, Castiel frowns. He didn't like the idea. Since Carden wants to send an army there, he must have lost his mind. The blonde gets off her knees and deftly moves across the table to grab the man's hand. He can't do such a stupid thing. The voice lowered. The guy does not understand what the lady is doing. Life, albeit short, flew by before his eyes. She will die now. The girl made him angry. The main character did not think that this would happen. Instead of being hit, Castiel almost cries. He does not believe that the little girl asked to hug him. The brunette does not know how to react to him. She not only hugged him, but grabbed him with her whole body. The young princess thinks that the words are correct, and for this, they thank her. The blonde's face reads, "Stupid!" The Duke lowers his voice. The girl did not hug him, but tried to stop the madman. The heroine is completely horrified, although in fact it is Lucas who inspires fear. The brunette fleetingly apologizes. Perhaps he has crossed the line. His lordship should be proud. He has a sweet daughter growing up, and even a smart, despite her age, lady is an excellent assistant. In order to stop all that chaos, the lady realizes that they are obliged to seize the lands at any cost. At any cost, they cannot be given to Kramer. The girl realizes that she was reborn just for this. There may not be a second chance. Turning to Roa, the little girl mumbles something about Rohan. It sounded strange, but the lady can't help but reveal herself. Adrian blushed a little, because he thought that he was called a good dad. Finally, the old man understood that although it was not there, Bion interjected, "It is unlikely that a child will start saying such adult things." Sir himself mentioned the young age of the baby. Apparently, he is gradually developing senile amnesia. Lucas asks everyone to stop. The three gathered in the head's office. As soon as everything was over, the girl was writing something on a piece of paper. For some reason, no one understood her speech, as if hearing was absent. There is hope that even though everything is normal with vision, it is necessary to get the lands of Rohan at any cost. They are full of expensive minerals. The Duke will become rich if he only sends his army there, and the princess will be given something in exchange for allowing her to leave the lands to the duchy. The two froze in horror when they read it. A second problem arose. How can the little girl know literacy? The girl blames herself. Again, she doesn't control herself. It's terrible. Ella prepared for a reprimand. But here she is called a genius. It's really great, but it's not clear where she learned it. Maybe she read books. Marcia had to help. Lucas asks if Eleonora understands what she wrote. But this is suspicious. She has shown herself to be a genius before. But here, perhaps, too much. Diva is still too young to explain her thoughts. If she continues, she will only arouse even more suspicion. It's time to move to the stage of a cute baby. Ellie smiles. But for some reason, everyone turns away. Maybe everything was so bad, Warren is called by his lordship. There is something more interesting on paper. There is a spell of capturing the moment. It allows you to capture anything with ease. Ordinary people go to special masters of photography for this, but the baby will be photographed more often at home. A photo card got into her hands, which makes it unpleasant. The girl thinks that this is already an overkill. All the same, it is better to return to the matter. What is happening reminds the heroine of the words of an ancient prophecy named Songji. Castiel, as one of the most knowledgeable, knows what he is talking about. However, no matter how plausible it may seem, predictions do not always come true. The child's words are not convincing. The captain of the Swords of the Black Sea will still not be so easily persuaded. The lady understands this, so she will ask. The girl is waving her hands. She is cute and wants to be photographed just one more time to distract herself, while others think that she is showing flags. Lucas is the only one who thought, "The daughter wants to say something. You need to take it as seriously as possible." The child still writes very slowly. "Perhaps you should bring Marcia here. She will be able to understand all the words." Already after half an hour, those gathered were disappointed. The lady did not understand anything. Lucas did not consider it all strange, because the usual babysitter is not obliged to understand everything. The calm reaction made him surprised. For the first time in her reincarnations, the heroine saw something similar. The door opened. Castiel says that he brought the one they asked for. Teorca appeared in front of them. There was no doubt that it was him. The girl was watching the brunette with her mouth open, understanding what was going on. Although the head was also responsible for the dormitory, the children there obeyed only Theo. Among all those who came out, there was only one person who did not betray Lucas, and until the very end, he stood guard over the demon lord. Several times Bliss had to meet him in battle. She did not think that now she would see him young. March was allowed to leave for now. Teorc is probably wondering why he was called here. He already heard that the Duke's child appeared out of nowhere. She is sitting in this office. The hero's new task will be to flawlessly fulfill Her Highness's orders. The boy promises that he will definitely put his best foot forward. Usually, children have rather unusual thoughts, so it can be problematic, but not in this case. Castiel proudly notes that the princess is not at all like ordinary babies. She is a young genius. Her height is, of course, incredible, but it is yet to be known how great her genius is. The little girl says maliciously that there is nowhere higher here. Theo froze. Because he understood every single word, Castiel asks interestedly what was just said. Her Highness was glad that the boy could understand her. Lucas does not doubt his daughter, so he thinks that the others should not do it either. Ellie trusts the captain of the swords most of all. Warren assures that this is not the case, because the little girl feels that the man treats her with suspicion. Brunette decided that there was no need to swear. He returned to the same topic. It was already mentioned that they were talking about the lands of Rohan. Eleanor should have something to say. She gets angry and calls everyone around, a little more, and the girl goes crazy in such a strange company. Theo holds back, but smiles. Obviously, he smiled. If he understands the ladies, you have to put all your cards on the table. Finally, the young man speaks the truth. Her Highness speaks about the lands of Rohan. There are many unexplored wells. That place is full of minerals and diamonds, extremely valuable. Besides, it is known that many creatures live there. As an example, you can take dragons or dwarves who are able to fight with their bare hands. Agree on a duchy with them. It will be a great benefit. The girl still does not believe in what is happening, but the boy is a real talent, since he is able to describe everything said so well. The ability to speak with creatures that do not know the language of the ability of common speech. It seems that he only knows how to fight, but no. Grabbing her sleeve, Eleonora smiles. She likes Teorca. She would like to play together every day. She met more talented people than expected. No one suspects that Bliss will be looking for allies. Castiel asks how the man could understand all the words without even thinking. The brunette can't quite explain everything. He has this ability from birth that helps him understand animals and even babies. If this is true, then it's good. Because if the lady lies, her life is in great danger. Lucas has taken up his own again. He sees a catch in everything. The blonde wants to know what's the point of dragging his daughter into their own lies. The dwarves have long since died out. Everyone knows that. 150 years ago, the entire race was already exhausted. His words make sense, because then there was a genocide of those who were superfluous. 150 years ago, the emperor of that time recognized the existence of only the human race. The first victims were dwarfs. The few survivors were locked in a dungeon. They became slaves for the aristocrats and the king. The girl does not understand why this is, although in general it is true. The baby was called a genius, but for some reason, now they do not believe in her words. The swords of the Black Sea have no meaning. Now only Theorka is needed. For the first time, the boy meets such a child as Her Majesty. She knows many incredible things, and at this age can already calmly compose thoughts. An unsurpassed mind is worthy of her title. For the hero, the beauty lives as if in a completely different world, distant from him. It is not clear why a girl needed someone like him. Teo was always criticized for his dark skin and shouted at, mocking. The brunette tries to convince herself that once the master has made a decision, there is no need to think about anything. You just need to listen to the words and explain them to the others. The young man understands the doubts of the hostess. If he wants to check, he can bring any animal or a second child. In any case, the hero must believe, because in front of him is his daughter, a blonde woman reaching out with her arms to hug Teorka. It was unexpected. All these words are meaningless. The girl asks to go for a walk with her. There will be no one in the garden. Deva was taken in his arms. Castiel noticed that the baby was laughing sweetly. It is necessary to say the same thing as Teorka. The brunette was actually fed up already. The beauty quietly asks to let her go, while she is good. He did not see how the lady was trying to treat the guy. The young man froze. He did not understand if he heard him. Lucas lowers his voice. He seems too happy while hugging the daughter of the head. Warren noticed that the facial expression is not the best. Something needs to be changed. The captain immediately tries to explain himself. It was a simple misunderstanding. The man was just saving Eleonora from a petty thief. Even Folk agrees that a young man can help much better than someone who is on the sidelines. Mrs. Brandt should be an example for everyone else. The little girl smiles, stretching her hand forward. It's time to stop arguing. She thinks that Papa is the best. Theorka immediately conveyed the truth, which made the head of the clan smile. It showed that he undoubtedly knows how to read minds. All the same, the girl said something before that. I would like to know what it was. The little girl was going to go to the garden for a little walk. As a dance partner, a brunette seems to be the most suitable. It is better to be close to someone you know well. Thanks to the ability of the new friend, everything turns out much better than expected. The girl continues to smile, while Adrian asks if Theo's daughter asked him out. It is strange how everything could turn out like this. The man rudely says that under no circumstances, even if he dies, he will not say yes. Her Highness shouts that she had something else in mind. Of course, desperation is the worst. So I would like to clarify the whole situation. The lady who explained everything is heartbroken because she just wants to go for a walk with Theo. If the girl is not allowed, she will be offended for the rest of her life. The man behaves as if he does not understand what the girl is talking about. He has a difficult choice to make. He needs to decide what to do next. The two are sitting on a bench. Finally, they ended up in the garden. Lucas still reacted too strangely. The main character says that the boy did a great job. In the end, the words are logical, because the young man was released at night, prevented from sleeping, and forced to talk to a bunch of strange men. It's tiring. Ducking his head, the boy promises that he is not offended. He is grateful to His Highness. Once the hero was an abandoned child, life was nothing better than death, and that's when the master came to save. Bliss does not understand how he can arrange such a life. He ended up in a hostel, and if he is useless, he will die anyway. The brunette knows everything. The training there is extremely exhausting, and the rules are very strict. He won't argue here, but he likes such a life. I would not like to return to what was before, he was mocked. Every day was worse and worse. I wanted to cry from the pain. Today, the boy was very surprised. It's true, he was released because he needed help. He couldn't even dream about it. And now he can only rejoice. Finally, the young man can prove himself. The most important thing is that there is at least some benefit from him. Everything else is not important. Her Highness did not know that Teorka was such a person. Being a spy of the Lord of Demons, the man earned the title of Captain of the Knightly Order. Unlike the others, he never betrayed his master and did not run away defeated for anything. The boy was ready to die for Lucas. Diva sadly lowers her eyes to the floor. Now she understood that everything was not as simple as it seemed at first. There is a reason why the young man behaves so maturely. He always chooses the right words and knows how to push at the right time. Footsteps were heard, which distracted him from his thoughts. The young man came forward, announcing that he wanted to check the safety of the lady. He was not even angry. It can be seen that Brant is trying his best to make a caring father out of himself. Castiel also came. It turned out that at the request of the little girl, they are going to the lands of Rohan. The girl lights up with joy. She did not think that everything would turn out like this. In addition, Teorka is appointed the personal servant of the princess. The task of the brunette will be to convey the words and will of the beauty, as well as protection from any threats. If something happens to the heroine, the boy will not get away with a simple dismissal. Theo swears with his body that he will be betrayed and prove his worth. Now Her Highness is no different from the mistress. No matter what happens, the boy swears to protect Her Highness Eleanor. Lucas reminds that he simply asked to provide protection. The hero expressed himself somehow wrongly, but for Eleonora, this is complete absurdity. A few more days passed. The two again spent time in the garden. The girl handed the young man a plate with some delicacy. The young man lights up with surprise. He tries something similar for the first time. The hero immediately asks what is inside. Smiling, the little girl explains that it is crushed orange ice. She is glad that her friend liked it. It suits his taste. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Everyone knows that. A few more dishes, and he will listen to everything the lady says. Theo thanks for meeting the beauty. The boy does not know how to explain his attachment, which quickly developed. The girl not only pulled the assistant out of the hostel, where he was not living well, but also allowed him to live in incredible luxury next to her. The heroine has never thought about what the conditions are really like, where they serve disgusting food. Now she asks not to worry, because after everything that happened, the young man will eat 100 times tastier. He even has something to offer. The first and most delicious thing is, of course, chocolate. Castiel always feeds the lady with such deliciousness. Next time, even the servants will ask for some. Bach appeared in the distance, waving his hand in greeting. It's good that they met. The night is still a bit annoying. They haven't seen each other for so long, and the Duchess is still the same little girl. The redhead also greets Eleanor's personal bodyguard sitting on the bench. The girl desperately asks the man to go somewhere, because he is interfering. But, considering it unacceptable, the young man asks another question. Where is the master going? The knight explains that he is going to the dormitory. Today is his training day. He is training for combat training. It is fun to watch the guys fight. The blonde thinks that this is not fun at all. He continues to talk nonsense. The young man offers to go with him. Her Majesty quickly understood what exactly she needed, so she asked to convey that she wanted to go to see it. Baha asks what the speech was about. Teo obediently translates. The words make you smile, because for the first time, the lady shows a lively interest. The red-haired begs to go as soon as possible, because then there is no point in delaying. Such a schedule suits the beauty very well. She does not recognize this. But the truth is, there will be only trained children. Each of them is special in something. Now the girl has many opportunities that make her happy. It seems that today, Her Highness is in an excellent mood. Everyone around noticed this. Everything changed when they arrived at the place. The girl was overcome by an unpleasant feeling. The heroine knew that life in a hostel is, of course, not easy. But she did not think that everything was so bad, seriously, that there were terrible conditions. A child's cry was heard, calling Zero in. Sir Barbaha came closer, rudely asking what happened to the girl lying on the floor. The guys try in every way to protect the beauty, shouting that everything is fine with her. Maybe it's the mushrooms in the soup. There were poisonous substances. Everyone should know that liars are expelled from children, so that the wards do not die of hunger. They consistently give 3 meals a day. The blonde quietly turns to Theo to understand if this happens often. It turned out that this is a normal thing. Nothing changes. If the children do not have time to heal, the Duke orders to throw them out into the street. People like Lucas have no compassion. The brunette brought the princess closer to his body. His eyes carefully studied the reddened face. Heavy breathing, shaking hands. These are definitely symptoms of food poisoning. Turning back, Her Majesty concludes, it turned out that the lady herself ate everything. There was nothing to think about. There was some motive. The girl asks to look at the pocket. It seems that Zero ate mushrooms to become stronger. If you withstand the effect of their poison, the body gets stronger. Other children try to cover the heroine. Teo would have done the same in her place. The majority in the hostel are just poor orphans. They once managed to escape from hunger and despair, so no one wants to return. The heroine does not understand what she should do. Perhaps this is the last reincarnation. You need to act extremely carefully. The baby knows that she cannot use the magic of healing. The others can learn about the abilities. Although in this case, the maiden would also be healed. Zeroin grabs the princess by the hand, and with the last of her strength, almost crying, asks her to help her. Now she reminds Bliss in her past life. A little later, when the lady grows up, she can certainly become a faithful ally. The beauty quietly utters a spell. She just needs a little help. Her Highness asks to convey what she wants to discuss with Barbaka. She asks to stop putting pressure on healthy children. Otherwise, she will tell her father everything. The red-haired man is trying to be indignant. There is no point in negotiating with him. From now on, the heroine will only use threats. The master can listen. The lady will like Barbak even more if he does everything as it should. For this, you need to take care of the hostel building and feed the children delicious food. The man does not understand. It is not his responsibility. The guy is trying to change something, offering to touch his hair. It is the same color as the princess's eyes. Diva does not want to change the subject. She will order the sword of the Black Sea if the children are bad. The little girl literally threatens as much as she can. On the same day, there was silence in the children's room. It is strange that Theo does not say anything, although it seems that he should. The girl tried to control the flow of energy, but the ward was too close to not notice anything at all. The princess wants to believe that Lucas will not be told anything. She is definitely worried that the brunette is not talking. Theo has never been talkative, so it is difficult to understand what he is thinking. The father entered the room. Barbaha said that he was taking the little girl to the dormitory. It seems that the interrogation is about to begin. The red-haired man said that he just wanted to play with Ella, while Michaela laughed, realizing that the moron had behaved wrongly, and now he would have to receive what is connected with the consequences. Now, turning to Tiorka, I would like to know why the young man did not stop the lady. He must have some duties that should be fulfilled. Bowing his head, the hero apologizes. His duty is to look after and protect Her Majesty. This is exactly what they agreed on. Brant's voice becomes increasingly harsh, knowing what needs to be done. The boy still did not stop the princess. The safety of her life is more important than anything in the world. The mistress grabs the boy's clothes so that he can give something to his father. You can't punish an innocent person for anything. Her Highness liked the dormitory. To all this, the lady wants to come there as often as possible. The blonde shakes her head. She can't go there. The girl should stop asking. The Duke doesn't like stubborn things. I didn't want to go to extreme measures. But it seems she had no other way out. She liked the hostel because her father built it, so it is connected to him. Everyone in the room froze. Even Theo. Finally, he started to translate. The little girl said that she wants to live in that place, although it seems that the words are not entirely true. Lucas simply nodded. Since this is the case, you will have to obey. Michelle will be ordered to prepare a room especially for Eleonora. This is not what the heroine had in mind, but maybe she should play along with Teork. Then it will be possible to feed the children with delicious food. The presence of the princess guarantees good living conditions. Then the place will become a fairy tale dream home, and then all enemies will die. Everything fell apart in a few moments. Being Eleonora's father, the man is obliged to live with her, so he is also going to move. Michaela smiles. Her relationship with her daughter is amazing. It is impossible to argue with the fact that Adrian is very important to Ella, but it seems that then everyone else should be by their side. Barbaha will play with the baby. Warren will probably follow them, so that everyone will be close. Lucas refuses, you can do without it. The blonde agrees, perhaps for the first time, something bad cannot be allowed. The girl is obliged to show these children peace and freedom. There is a person who can prevent this, but the lady will make everything better. The next day, the room was prepared. It was, of course, less than the number of rooms in the estate, but Michaela still went all out to decorate it well. The man asks not to be sad until he is around. If any children offend, you need to tell everything right away so that nothing happens. Waving her hand, The beauty thinks that she will never turn to them. And now the time is running out. The door has almost closed. The lady will see her family in a week. The baby almost fell, and honestly, it was scary. Theo said that the lady just wants to play with other children and does not want to stay in the hostel forever. Fortunately, the problem with the settlement was solved. The girl has only a week, during which time she plans to complete everything that is necessary, taking over the hostel. The guys were already happy the next day. They were allowed to sleep for up to 7 hours. The beds became soft. Now you don't need to train all day. They all learned that the princess had arranged it. A few more days pass. The children sit down at the table in disbelief, asking if everything on the table is really allowed to them. They are seeing such food for the first time. The girl expected everything to be exactly like that. Theo is asked to convey. The lady worked hard, and her excellent work led to such a result. It's little things. The heroine is capable of greater things for the happiness of others. The brunette asks not to worry about getting rid of someone. The man said everything correctly, although he conveyed almost everything that was needed. Some felt as if they were going to cry now, but they would enjoy the meal. A voice was heard that the lady had already heard. A maiden with blue eyes introduced herself as Zeroin. It was she who was saved last time. The woman is grateful for what happened before. She was lucky that the right person was nearby. She is noticeably better, and now it is a little easier. Initially, the blonde did not plan for salvation. No one could have known that everything would end like this. The beauty offered a gift and put a box with stones on the table. It would seem that there is nothing unusual, but here the lady noticed a large dragon egg. The girl immediately asks how it turned out to be here. It is strange. Zeroin explains that he collects minerals. As you know, many nobles like to wear precious stones. The brunette chooses a special set for each person. She hopes that everything will suit the princess. These are little things, but the blue-eyed hotel will thank her. The little girl grabs the basket, and her friend immediately conveys that she says that she likes everything. The girl is glad that everything ended like this. The guys immediately started whispering. They had never met such a kind person as Her Highness. In the end, everything went according to plan. I managed to get the disposition of these children, and in addition, a dragon egg. I wanted to be happy. Until one of those gathered said that the princess was openly mocking them. Prostophiles are happy about something wrong. There is no profit from one delicious dinner. Even if it lasted only a week or a month, it is still only a temporary phenomenon. Among all the residents of the hostel, this guy is the only one from a ruined noble family. Once, when he stole food to survive, he attracted someone's attention. He is a former nobleman. It is not surprising that temporary indulgences are not interesting to him. He is told that it is not necessary to talk to a lady like that. The man has no business. He noticed that the beauty has some rags instead of clothes. Her Highness asks not to pay attention to the words and continues to eat the boys. The heroine does not quite understand why such aggression is manifested. It is clear that the young man did not like the new duchess at all. Those gathered are already switching to other words. They ask why Alex is behaving like this, because it seems unfair to them. Be that as it may, the girl took care of the residents of the hostel. The blondes still scream. In front of them is a lucky girl who was dumped on the Duke's doorstep. The guys have been surviving here for a long time, and the heroine came to everything prepared. She has no right to command them, and it would be even better to leave. The theory interrupts this flow. It seems that the hero does not understand who he is communicating with. He is ordered to change immediately. He is not listened to. There is no Sir Bian in the room, so there is no need to order. The man does not promise anything, and does not force him to do something. He only warns that the assistant's task is to protect Her Highness. Apparently, the young man forgot that Alex wields a sword better than him, and yet he was chosen as her assistant. They are perfect for each other. The hero is too annoying, it's worth admitting. The lady said that it's time to end this drama, and she also asked if he was hungry. The girl heard her stomach rumbling. The blonde reacted too violently. For some reason, she was making something up. Now they were really making fun of him. The little girl holds out her hand, which contains a cookie. She really likes it when there is chocolate inside. But the lady will give one piece out of kindness. Everything that was happening made me remember the past. Once the mother fed the boy chocolate, saying that it was delicious. The blonde gets annoyed because she doesn't understand what the lady is trying to say. They don't translate everything to him. The beauty begs Theo to help with words. Remembering how they had just met, the young man sullenly says that the little girl promises to feed the man the most delicious food. For some reason, he did not give all, but only a part. Blue-eyed again reacts violently. He is no longer a child. If you feed him chocolate, you will not be able to forget all the grievances that are hidden inside. Turning, the young man heads for the door. He is still angry. The princess did not do anything to be in her place. There is silence in the Duke's office. Warren is not sure. But it seems that the young man misses his daughter. Eleanor sent a letter, which they are considering. Volk helpfully informs that nothing more has come, only what they see now. It is necessary to understand it better. The brunette offers to call the captain. This version of events seems not bad, because he, as the manager of the hostel, will surely understand. Half an hour later, Castiel was standing in the office. He was pulled out at such a late time only for the sake of some unrelated conversation. Breaking the comedy, the young man jokes that the hostess's handwriting has changed. Since everything is written so crookedly, it even upsets a little. Eleonora wrote the letter. She was asked about it. Then the girl fulfilled it. She personally inspected the dormitory and described everything that required special attention. The baby is extremely smart. The father decided to follow her instructions. The captain was released to hear his story about what was happening in that place. Surely the Duke remembers how not so long ago many children died of illness. Ella reduced their training hours and increased their rest. Oddly enough, such measures noticeably increased the effectiveness of each training session. It is unrealistic to believe until you see for yourself. Even simply renewing the plants in the garden had a great effect. The children's loyalty to Ella increased noticeably. They see in her the makings of a brilliant leader. All the same, the lady will return to the estate tomorrow. The master must give her something. Castiel has already come up with something for himself. He will give her slippers, the same as his, in the form of chickens. Warren commented on this horror, but he was cut off, saying that fashion is a complicated thing. The one who wears eternal black has no right to judge. Everyone wants the next day to come faster. Eleonora herself sits in the room and looks at the egg that was given to her. It belongs to the immortal dragon. Sinistra, as you know, nothing can destroy. When his time is coming to an end, he lays the only egg. Who would have thought that such a find would be in a hostel? The little girl saw Theo on the threshold of the room. Everyone went to their beds. It's time to rest. The assistant worked hard. It's time to rest. The brunette does not agree. It is noticeable that his manner of speech and behavior have somehow changed dramatically. He has become sadder and gloomier. If Alex is more suitable for the princess, she can ask the hostess to make him her protector. Obviously, the guy is again oppressed by envy. Teorka had to be told right away that it was wrong, and that he was embarrassed. Eleonora did not forget about him for anything. On the contrary, a which better than ordinary chocolate was prepared for him. Just a few days ago in Lucas's office, a girl tried to take a box of fancy candies from Castiel. He complains that he recently gave sweets, but requests do not work at all. In the end, the master ordered to give what was difficult to get. The girl promised that she would constantly feed her friend something charmingly delicious. When the heroine grows up, she will be able to get everything her heart desires. So the young man needs to be close if he wants to get more. At first, the man did not know what to answer. It was probably too difficult. But in the end, he said, "Thank you," hoping that the word would convey all his emotions. Very little time has passed since the world learned about the existence of Ellebrand. She did not think that everything would develop so quickly. Immediately after that, she was showered with all kinds of gifts. At some point, the girl began to be frightened by the kindness of her own family. The two are walking in the garden. A carriage appeared in the distance. I would like to know who is there this time. The attention of so many people is flattering, but they must understand that all this is a useless activity. This time, Count Carlos Havadin arrived in the duchy. He politely bows his head to greet. Behind is a little girl. The daughter is the same age as the princess. Maybe they have a chance to become friends. The baby greets when she is asked to do just that. Joanna smiles, but here they ask about the dress. It seems that Lucas is interested in fashion, or rather, a specific variation of the dress. The clothes of Havadin's daughter were made to order from a well-known designer. The young man is simply furious. Although with sparkling eyes, he says that everything is fine. A few days passed. And another dress was put on Ella, this time even more wonderful with blue ruffles. So she is even more beautiful. Bliss asks herself to pull herself together. Although she really wants to let out all her steam, she is not a princess here. She must not let this world perish. Theo smiles, noticing that this outfit suits the heroine very well. The same smile of the boy from the past pops up in her head, which made her distance herself from reality. They knocked on the room and immediately asked for forgiveness for disturbing. It turned out that Nick was there. He had something to say. Soon the envoy of the emperor himself will arrive at the meeting. Everyone gathered should prepare for the visit, thinking about what to do next. Lucas says that all this is boredom, but Ella will not let him miss this meeting either. The little girl raises her hand up, shouting that she will go. Finally, the man has arrived. Very soon it will be the birthday of Her Highness the Princess. A good present must be prepared for her. Gilbert, like everyone else, is nervous about this date. It seems that Lucas is not listening at all. He touches the blonde's hair with his finger, but she seems to be bored, because they are at an important meeting anyway. The hero cannot help but smile, although such a reaction is strange. Not long ago, the daughter was a baby. Despite this, Eleonora did not forget her childhood habits. Hilbert already understood that the child did not like it. Finally, they paid attention to him. But it all ended immediately. Castiel was called to look at the girl. According to the Duke, the daughter's ego is definitely missing something on its head, which needs to be corrected urgently. Lucas himself doesn't understand what's wrong. No matter how much he looks at the top of his head, nothing comes to mind. He can't seem to concentrate on the meeting. The captain was ordered to prepare the best jewelry available on the market. The messenger understood that the rumors are not lying. The Duke really does not respect anyone, but he cannot give up. The brunette offers a bow, thus participating in the conversation. As you know, what has been said refers to the latest fashion. A huge bow on the head will look very cute and harmonious. The expression on the head's face froze. Hilbert was already afraid that he had said something wrong. But no, he smiled. This is a good sign, because time will be given to the guest as well. Michaela always said that the bigger the better. The gathered will use it right now. Lucas offers to leave to choose something that Eleonora will like. Only now does the man realize that he was stupid. He thought that they were choosing a headdress as a gift to Reina. When they tried to object to him, in a second, his face was distorted by an evil grimace. First of all, they always talk about Ella, and not about someone else. That's the law. The little girl tries on one of the options that were offered to her. Of course. This is another bow. She screams that they do not open it, because she does not want to be seen in such a terrible way. As things are going, it will only get worse as expected. Bliss has to move on her own, if left as is. Only death awaits. The beauty can't help but get angry, especially at Lucas, who can't see anything but herself. It's already going beyond what's allowed. It's not clear how to escape. Theorca distracts from his thoughts. He does not know what is troubling the lady, but he asks not to worry. All difficulties will definitely be overcome. Nothing will remain of them. A man's duty is to protect a girl, she freezes. Of course she wants to thank him. But after such words, the beauty realizes that her conscience is tormenting her. The blonde still squeezes words out of herself. It is impossible to refuse this. It is a great luck that the lady met the one who is now the most important person for her. Of course, the heroine nods. She is really happy. If the girl had not met the brunette, she would have gone crazy in this place with a bunch of strange people in the faces of black sea swords. The door is suddenly opened with the help of Lucas's foot. His facial expression does not promise anything good as he orders the man to be taken further. Warren says that he can't believe that the young man stole Ella's smile. It's like robbing the Duke, in fact, the same thing. Theo is ordered to bow his head if he really wants to live. The heroine is angry, so she sent everyone out the door. His lordship remained outside. He quietly calls Eleonora, but she screams again. Castiel asks to calm down. They say that puberty begins earlier in girls. At night, two sneaked into the girl's room to check her condition. The Duke can't stop worrying, which is logical in general. Still, the little girl is more like her father. Every day she becomes like a copy. It seems that she is dreaming of something good, judging by the serene expression on her face. A hand reaches out to stroke the girl's hair, but the man grabs Castiel, noting that he had warned earlier that he could only be touched when he had washed his hands. Eleanor starts tossing and turning on the bed. She still dreams of horror. Bliss sees shooting around, people falling, leaving blood splatters behind. The red-haired woman does not quite understand what she deserved to be deprived of the life she deserved. She wants everything to be completely different. Goluboglazuya almost got hit with a huge hammer, but one of her acquaintances rushed under it. She died on the spot. The pain spread along with her scream. In this chaos, it becomes even scarier. Hatred blossoms into a poisonous flower. Ella's father picks her up. He gently hugs her, asking her not to cry anymore. Sitting on the bed under the sun's rays, the maiden ponders why the man had such an expression on his face that night, full of sympathy. Although Lucas considers his daughter to be real, it is not so at all. A voice is heard. It turns out that they are discussing the fact that the heroine was crying. Of course, Bian appeared on the threshold, who immediately smiled. The blonde declares that he missed him very much. Of course, he does not forget to mention that the lady looks somehow unimportant. The problem is that the lady understands too much, and he does not. The Duke also appeared in the room. For some reason, he had an unusual expression on his face, huge bruises under his eyes. Several more people, complete strangers, entered behind him. Her ladyship is welcomed. It seems that the daughter was not well at night, so Lucas gathered all the best doctors in the duchy to at least somehow help her. Diva doesn't understand where to start. It would be possible to explain, but the poor people standing in the corner are literally shaking with fear. The name of the disease is transitional age. Such a statement from the head himself sounds funny. The blonde offers the following: whoever cures the princess will receive a reward. The guys have already said that it's not an illness, but no one hears them. Bayan also puts in his 5 kopecks, asking why everyone is silent, as if they wanted to die. Those gathered are pointing at each other to blame the problem on someone else. They are talking so that the head starts to hurt. Such behavior is unacceptable in the Duke's environment. Apparently, they really do not understand anything, even if everything seems to be expressed as it should be. Castiel takes out a knife from his sleeve. No one has the right to ignore the Duke himself. It seems that the doctors really thought that those gathered did not know what a transitional age is in a child. The captain asks what he will do. If he gives it to him, everything will be done in the best way. There is complete confusion in her head, even without what is happening. The situation has turned in an unexpected way. The baby does not understand what to do, while the brunette continues to ask to give orders. Lucas turns to Eleonora, asks if she is sick. The girl shakes her head. Her eyes are full of malice. Something follows. Instead of another joke, the young man exhales. Thank heaven. When the little girl was not feeling well, the father did not understand what he should do. Now everything is much easier. Realization comes. The ladies understand that they are making fun of her. That's disgusting. The beauty sharply pushed His Highness away. She herself did not understand what happened. But it will not lead to anything good. It is clear even so, she used force. The assistants rushed to the hostess to check whether he was really all right. The blonde was sitting in horror. It was beginning to dawn on her that now everything was gone, that it was not clear what to do next. The Duke is sitting in the dark of his office, thinking about what happened. It wasn't the first time he was lost in thought. Castiel asks to keep calm. After all, they don't know if Corey really sent the baby here. Warren agrees with the captain. Ella herself is standing behind the door, trying to press her ear. She can't hear what's going on there at all. She managed to keep the secret until now. There was no need to keep the mana. Since the man did not kill the daughter right away, she blindly believes that there is still hope, mainly fear that does not go away. But for some reason, she wants to believe in the best, no matter what. The beauty came to the office. She realizes that she can't fix yesterday. She can only try to improve the situation. Ella came up with an answer, that her father was hurt in a dream because of her. Then she got scared. Yesterday, the lady apologized. But this is not enough for the man. So he asks to do the same again. It seems that this kind of thing brings him pleasure. In order not to be late, everyone went to the meeting. The little girl also participates. Because she shows on the map where the yellow snake lives, her abilities are incredible. Bian was also surprised. The power of foresight is one of the most amazing abilities. Roa was silent until this moment, but he also has something to say. Addressing His Majesty, the old man notes that, as he said, giving the princess a yellow snake would be quite a good idea. However, this area is under the control of the cut. It is dangerous to go there. If they come across the one who manages the lands, everything will end very badly, because the conflict will grow. The blonde objects. There is another way. The snake cannot be allowed to die. For some reason, now the lady is in the mood to take away Edwin's lands. In the past, he talks about a reptile that fell to Her Majesty's heart as soon as she saw it. The girl would not know anything if the lover was from that life. But nothing can be done. The heroine is actively moving, drawing something on the map. If you follow the path that is shown in front of the audience, you will be able to avoid meetings with the cut. Even Roa froze with a strange expression on his face. It is unbelievable that the Duke's daughter knows cartography at such a young age. Since everything is going well so far, the girl is asked to continue in the same spirit. Based on the prediction, the main character is obliged to go to Rohan. There she will have a mission. They all said in one voice that they are against such a thing. Lucas offers to go together with his daughter. She jumps in horror. Everyone says that they want to go too, but they have to stop. The baby wants to go with Bian. It is better to let the lady be considered strange than to run away with her with the whole crowd. Roa suggests holding a vote so that there are no grievances. Carden behaved wrongly. In the blonde's eyes, this is horror. I want to cry. Because suddenly, someone else will be chosen. After half an hour, everything became known. In the end, Bian still won. He won by 1 vote. 0 votes were cast for Lucas. Since everything has been decided, it's time to collect the luggage and prepare the carriage. The girl is glad that in the end everything turned out as she wanted. She voted repeatedly because she did not really want to go with someone like him. Finally, the lady goes to the lands of Rohan. When the heroine first entered this mansion, it seemed to her as if it was the end. But as it turned out, everything is not so bad at all. Theo noticed in the window 2 people who are standing in the garden, right in front of the mansion. Something is happening there. A dispute is probably developing about who will go and who won't. The carriage went somewhere, leaving the palace. The lady runs out and shouts for them to stop, because they were supposed to be there with their uncle. Lucas speaks loudly so that it is clear. He gives an ultimatum. Him or Bian. Eleonora wants to shout in response, because her plans are constantly being interfered with. This all makes him hate his father even more. He does not understand what is wrong, although the girl has already explained 1,000,000,000 times that she would like to go forward without thinking about anything. In any case, the heroine will go to the Rohan lands. The option they offer does not suit her. Now she is no longer holding back. The fight is gradually developing. Teo intervened in the conversation. As it seemed to him, it was impossible to miss the moment. Otherwise, it would only get worse. He is worried, but tries to connect 2 words. The princess has long planned this business, all in order to prepare a gift for his lordship. The girl wants to express her appreciation. At first, she couldn't think of a way or what she needed to do, but Mr. Bian gave advice. Since those lands are unexplored, there you can find a special gift for a special person. A screeching eagle appeared outside the window again. It swooped down, making the knight scream, "Patience is a virtue." But it is difficult to get along with Alex, who constantly calls the girl a parody of the Duchess. The blonde clarified why the boy was taken with them. It gives the impression that there is no point in him. However, according to the man, this is not so. The body and spirit of the young man are strong. Bian trained and raised Alex. His words could sound more convincing if it were not for the fact that the hero is unable to raise even a bird. The little girl decides not to talk about it any further. She just wants to know when they will finally leave. Theo, standing on the sidelines, sadly watches everything. He thought that he would be a good defender, but now his self-esteem has fallen even lower. He has no useful skills, except the ability to understand common idioms. The baby distracts from the thoughts that lead further into the abyss. She asks why he hung around, offering to leave as soon as possible. Fortunately, he will still have an opportunity to prove himself. There are many people in the city, each busy with his own business. Alex is happy like a dog, noticing small details in the form of a concert and people's smiles. Ella's stomach made a rumbling sound. It seems that it was too loud. But hey, you can't be distracted by such trifles, especially now. The assistant is thinking about what to do next. He doesn't know what to do, because he was in such a hurry that he didn't take anything to eat with him. Alex held out a sandwich. His job is to take care of the princess and feed her. The young man is ready to jump out of his pants in front of his master. Theo had to do it. Now he is sad that everything ended like this. A melody is heard outside. The lady does not leave the feeling that somewhere she has already heard it. Three young people play different instruments. This is lonk. The guys perform at the same level. The lady will lie if she says that she was unlucky. She does not believe that she is seeing an informant with whom she collaborated in a past life. Although now there is no insightful look, but still find out the details of the girl in the state, she will try to throw a bait to get. Opening the window of the carriage, immediately after the greeting, the lady throws enough gold coins on the road. This time they will also take care of her. It seems that the princess liked the performance. It is a great honor for a man. The young man smiles further. Thanks for the money. This man looks like an ordinary musician, but in fact he is a murderer of aristocrats who steals and sells their children. Theo finds what is happening suspicious. Intuition says that after this conversation, they will find themselves in some not entirely pleasant situation. Since there is no money, Bayan will prepare something tasty so that the girl will finally eat enough. She refuses, citing nausea. But nothing works. In the evening, the lady's condition worsened even more. She does not know how to behave. Because she is incredibly sick, her stomach hurts. She angrily says that she is all right anyway. The blonde put the charge on the bed. In fact, it will not go any further. He promises that he will bring medicine and will definitely look after her. There is no strength left to answer, so the lady is simply silent. The hero leaves, thinking about what medicine to give. Honestly, she is not even sure if she can be trusted. There was silence in the room until Theo asked if he needed to bring some warm water. Alex told the boy to leave, thinking that it would help. The young man had no problems, although he also ate a sandwich. Now he does not see any problems. The girl promises that she will not leave the situation so easily. As soon as she recovers, she will tell everything. The blue-eyed man stood in front of the door, not letting the beauty pass, and thinking that there was no need for this. He literally mocked her. And that was bad. It seems that nothing will change unless extreme measures are taken. The young man has absolutely no manners, since he has decided that everything is allowed. Theorca, as an assistant, decided to intercede. The lack of manners can go sideways. It is better not to continue this whole performance. The blonde himself just got angry, grabbing the brunette by the collar. He notes that he had to live with a fake princess for several years. You could notice changes in her behavior. Someone like a man from the Yaman tribe has no right to command. Words take the boy to the past, when he was even worse. They mocked him, not giving him food. And when the young man resorted to theft, everything ended only worse. People promised to destroy the Icon tribe. Alex thinks that everyone understands what exactly he is talking about. It still doesn't mean anything, but still, a fight begins, because he can't stand it anymore. The window opened. Someone threw a small balcony inside, and a second later, the lady was being carried somewhere. Obviously, they tried to kidnap her. The assistants run behind, shouting for the thief to stop. The young man is scared. No one has ever gotten up after the sleeping gas. Everything floats before her eyes. The girl realizes that everything will only get worse. If it were not for the fight between the two subjects, the situation would have ended differently. Those running behind are obviously too pushy. It seems that this girl is really from a noble family. Alex shouts that the girl can't do anything. The heroine no longer knows how to control herself. She is vomiting because of the food she ate before that. She is incredibly ashamed to think about how the young man feels. Bayan realizes that everything is obvious. He is about to go back. But then someone comes out of the shadows. The stranger smiles, greeting the night. The brunette is trailing behind. He can't run as fast. Unfortunately, the hero hasn't trained like Alex, so he can't, although he would like to protect the princess. They made him a real killing machine. The girl understood what Beyond's intentions were. That's why he runs so well. In the past life, it was a little easier. It's a pity that now everything is not as it should be. Finally, the young man caught the thief, but accidentally took off his pants. The man started screaming almost immediately. He threw the girl to the ground and hit Alex, who was standing behind him. He had no right to behave like that. The blue-eyed man attacked, because even his master did not allow him to hit his face. Putting the sword to his face, he asks who sent this man, And what was the point of stealing the beauty? A loud click was heard from behind. Two grabbed the princess. If she does not lower her weapon, she will be hurt by the pistol. It will only get worse. It is obvious that there is no way out. It turned out that the stranger had assistance. This is logical, because it would be too stupid to go to the estate without help. Alex has nothing left but to obey. This is the most important thing. Because there is no way out. The young man is moving because he is going to move forward. One of the thieves raises a gun, pretends that he completely forgot to say that moving is also prohibited. The blonde freezes in horror. Theo fell to the ground just like his friend. They start kicking them, not leaving a single chance to say something. As the lady thought, she will have to do everything herself. A bright light gathers around the body. Now the men notice that something is wrong with the girl. The woman is truly evil. None of them has any idea what real suffering is. A bright pillar of strength rises up. The energy does not allow to escape. The heroine tied the trio, sitting them on the ground. In front of her, the leader is Pepe Bishargabe. The beauty completely ignores requests. Now her people are most important to her. She anxiously asks the boys if they are okay. Helping him to sit down under a tree, the lady uses the power of healing. The blonde's face shows shock. It is strange that a girl at such a young age possesses healing and attacking magic. A 7-year-old virgin should understand that this is not normal. Teo's legs are also not in the best condition. As well as his body, he ran because he did not want to fall in the middle of the forest and endure all the pain. The words are interrupted by the guys standing behind. They want to know who is in front of them. The girl does not look normal. Maybe the princess is a polymorph. No one knows. When the lady used level 5 magic again, Alex remembered how he had mocked the lady. There was no need to do that. She could easily handle him. Not much is known about polymorphs. They are able to change their shape entirely. The ingredient for transformation is the object's hair or a piece of flesh. At this time, Bian and his old friend, Krenna from the Ma tribe, a sorceress in the Tower of Demons, are in one of the pubs. The man is interested in what the girl looks like. She really looks like a homeless woman. It's even funny, but it's not worth commenting on. Diva objects remaining rather persuasively malicious. It's such a fashion now. The young man simply doesn't understand anything, and it's actually scary. Now she is interested in how the devil lives there. The word good is not satisfactory at all. I don't want to hear about it. The heroine does not consider herself the same as Kreia, so she does not want others to think the same. She should know that if she continues to behave like a human, her strength will gradually go away. This is logical. There were rumors, quite interesting, saying that the man had a child, or he collapsed for the sake of it, or it was an illegitimate child. Judging by what they say, the princess is very cute. Krenna fell silent, because the look made Bian wonder if he should open his mouth. Here, the blonde takes out a photo, asking if the virgin wants to look at Ella. She is gorgeous and mature beyond her years. Everyone will definitely like it. The heroine calmly approaches the thieves whom she caught. They are obliged to take an oath, otherwise it will be worse. Death will come faster than expected. Everything is not going according to the girl's plan. She is at the limit. So she gets angry, forcing her to do what is necessary. The boss will become a contract. His assistants have already understood that this is a contract of the soul. If he breaks the promise, the soul will be banished forever. Finally, they obeyed. It was a wise decision, because he did not want to die. After this procedure, the two are almost crying. They still do not believe that they have become slaves. Surely they must understand what will happen if they do not come to the princess's call. Insight is magic that allows you to summon and observe objects that have a small amount of mana in their blood. Lidi used the method that was created at the time when she was called a witch from God. Now that everything is over, the three might leave. Alex clings to the tree. He looks scared. While Theo silently looks away, the Duchess asks never to pose like that. The girl values loyalty very much, for which she thanks. The blonde remembers how Bian treated him with tears in his eyes, while he says thank you in return. The egg caught fire just when the hero bowed his head. The girl hears a quiet voice that believes that just a few words are not enough. The lady does not understand what to do next. In the head, the egg seemed to draw its lips and reached out to do something with it. It turned out that it was all a dream. Bian was just sleeping next to him, asking for a morning kiss. The Duchess jumped up and angrily began to hit her on the head with pillows. Ella screamed that it was impossible to do that. She was scared. The hero still behaves as if he doesn't understand anything. Surely this is how a girl shows love. He is the first man who was hit. There was a knock on the door. Two people appeared on the threshold, who for some reason put on their aprons. Breakfast is served. You can go eat. Last night, the princess asked to keep secret what happened last night. The girl was almost kidnapped. It is strange that she wanted to hide everything. In one morning, everything changed. And it seems that Alex began to treat the lady better. The guys prepared potato soup for breakfast. For some reason, the lady feels very uncomfortable. Beyond says that it didn't taste good, and the girl immediately asks not to worry, because it's a joke. The blonde continues, Eleanor, it's better not to eat soup, because there are medicines that my uncle got. They help digestion well, so that everything settles down. Then you need to go for a walk around the neighborhood. In any case, they don't have time for that. They still need to buy a present for the Duke. The lady completely forgot about her promise. In Lucas's office, the atmosphere is the same as usual. But the man is constantly thinking about his daughter. Maybe he should have gone, because she must be missing her a lot. On the paper, the young man drew some incomprehensible little man. It is obvious that it is Ella, after all. The hero has an outstanding sense of the beautiful. There was a wooden figure on the table, even more charming. The hostess must be very lonely, since he made it with his own hands. After the conversation, the Duke went outside, where the maids are talking about the princess. Without her, it's quite boring, and they hope to see each other soon. While the thoughts were going on, someone sneaked up behind. One of the girls jumps out from behind, holding a knife in her hands. The hero quickly figured out what was going on, and that behind him was a man from the Ma tribe. A newcomer who had not lived to be 100 years old aimed at him. This was the main mistake. Everything is calm in the city. The guys went to the fair, where Alex won a prize. The princess likes that he is like a child, but they have not yet completed their mission. They should find a suitable gift. Tiorka refused to play. He came just for company. Bion was taking pictures all this time. He had a happy thought in his head. Lucas would be happy to see it. When the games are over, the carriage will leave. The girl still can't stop thinking why the egg glowed then. It's strange. Passing by the bench, the lady came across a familiar thing. Her lover once brought something similar in the past, assuring that the beauty would go. The memories become painful. Tears flow down the cheeks in streams. It is too difficult to think about how all this should be. The girl asks herself to calm down. She can still leave the guy alone. But the guys were distracted from their thoughts. It turned out that Bayan stayed away to take a picture of Her Majesty. The baby was looking at the flower and was about to leave. Someone grabbed her by the hem of the dress. The baby is sitting on the ground, asking for help. There is almost no voice. He is tired. The request to give some food reminds of how the beauty behaved in the past. Her life was just as pitiful. The girl quickly asks if they have any food with them. The luggage has already been taken to the carriage, so only bread is left, even if the child is entwining both cheeks. For some reason, the beauty looks like the Duke. At this moment, she is just as good-natured, trying to save an innocent person who has nothing. As soon as the father comes up, the lady gets angry. Alex asks for forgiveness for the comparison, but he remembered that a few years ago, Lucas saved Marcia. At first, the blonde does not believe. The demon is not such a person to save. But no, it is true. Everyone knows that the maid was sent to the estate. His lordship visited his daughter's room again. He was really bored. Nick reported that Count Havadin had arrived with some important message. The garden has already been cleaned. There is not a drop of blood left. The young man will not refuse to come to the reception. He must go and talk so that they do not miss the chance. They say that the princess has gone to the lands of Rohan, interrupting the interlocutor. The hero is interested in what kind of stick is in front of him. In the box is a magic wand, which is used by students. If the guest had known that the young lady was going on a journey, he would have prepared everything as quickly as possible. Everyone knows that as soon as a child learns to use an object, it helps him in the academy and in life. Lucas did not understand what he was talking about, so he asked again, as if he had forgotten. The princess is already 7. It's time for her to come. The imperial education, being the best, reveals and perfects the talents of its students. The institution has a high reputation among the aristocracy, thanks to the best teachers and educational environment. The entrance exam is difficult, so some take it several times. Adrian should not worry, because his daughter is a real genius. Her knowledge is not possessed by anyone in the academy. The man refused the gift. There is no point in letting Ella go. The girl again clarifies about the rescue. Even after several questions, she does not understand how this could happen. All this happened on the day when Bayan ordered Alex to show his abilities. Lucas, whom Bliss knows, was the opposite of good. For some reason, she remembers moments when the young man was cute. She does not know what she believes. By this time, the kid has finished his meal. He holds out some trinket for the meal. The dragon egg glows again when the word thank you is heard. After some time, they arrived in the land of Rohan. The children fight with monsters. But this is not something that should be done when there is absolutely no time. The girl asks in a low voice to stop and leaves. Ella does not know that goblins are ideal for training, and the best training is a real battle. The heroine has a fever, but she is not distracted from Theo, who is not given such an easy fight. As in the case of Alex, he almost got hit again. Bian did not want to help. He decided to joke about the need to give the boy to the goblins, but a scream was heard. Ellie tries to beat the young man, but it's like a tickle for him. She doesn't want anything to be done with the assistant. The girl was knocked out of her mind. She will have to ask Marcia herself later about how she was saved. Now it's time to go. A sound was heard ahead. They immediately jumped on their horses, a single thought running through their heads. If only it weren't for Kramer. The pleas were not heard. Several people standing in front asked that the strangers had forgotten on the land. A few meters away is Norbert, the head of the clan. He is very similar to Edwin. It hurts again. If the guys had arrived earlier, they would not have encountered them. Bian, forgetting about manners, calmly says that they are looking for one thing that is special. Brant did not receive permission to visit the lands. Bian will be recognized. Norbert guesses who exactly is in front of him. Of course, the man heard about the combat skills of Wolfoff. It is a great honor for the hero. Despite all the merits, how good they are in battle, so terrible in manners. It's even funny. Apparently, they did not know that the Kramer rule the lands of Rohan on behalf of the Emperor. The invasion is not forgiven. Bian begins to get angry. Energy accumulates around him to prevent a battle. The lady runs forward to say something important. Ella bows her head, greeting Norbert. He immediately smiles. The lady behaves with dignity. There is no dispute here. I apologize for my rudeness. The blonde says that she came to this place to find a cure for her father, Lucas. Obviously, everything is really bad. Since the young princess has personally arrived, she even hesitates to entrust it to one of her assistants. The brunette understood everything, but he will close his eyes only this time. Something similar will happen again. Bianu will definitely not say hello. Krameri are not so simple. They are considered the most powerful on the continent. Only this family gained the trust of the emperor. The baby decides to use her sweet smile again. She thanks. Good things are never forgotten. In the garden, the swords of the Black Sea discuss what was delivered. Some believe that there is no resemblance to the photo, and it was Warren who carved the doll from wood. Barbaha, on the contrary, thinks that everything is wonderful. Considering that it was made by one person, it looks wonderful. The wolf put his soul into it, as he should have. A huge golden statue was installed in the middle of the yard. The hero thought that he had done everything perfectly, but it seems that he had lost his sensitivity. Nothing can be done. The brunette is doing something similar for the first time. It is quite possible. There is a limit to everything. Baha raised his head. There is a crow sitting on top, which he needs to get rid of. He does not immediately understand, because the bird is just a small midge. For Ella's safety, it will be necessary to find out why there was dark magic around. The knight thought that it was strange. Warren remembers how he left the devil's castle. He was accused of leaving the underworld without leaving a trace. It was believed that hell would be nothing without Satan, but if the brunette wanted to get rid of it, it would be better to do the same with all of humanity. The Duke was the one chosen by Volk. He understood that he could not be betrayed, especially considering that the guy had a good soul in some sense. The sun is burning. The lady is very hot. The only thing that pleases her is that she is going with everyone. A gift for the great princess will be obtained. The road narrows. You will have to walk. There is no way out. You still need to be on the lookout. There are cracks in this place, especially since there is a baby in the delegation. There is only one way to find out where the crack originates. Reading the airflow cannot be ignored. Theo has never heard of such a thing, but the words seem familiar. Cracks are also dangerous because they are formed completely by accident. There are different entrances. It is not so easy to get out of there. Kramer noticed a bright funnel right next to Her Majesty and the knight. The two fell underground in a matter of seconds. Falling, Beyond screams Eleonora's name, releasing an uncontrollable stream of energy out of anger. Norbert asks to calm down. It is true that the entrance to the crack is accidental, but this does not mean that they cannot do anything. There is one peculiarity of the funnels. You can enter there by the second way, which they use. There is nothing to confirm. It is worth a try. The princess opened her eyes with difficulty. Someone is calling her, trying to break through the veil. The first thing she sees is Theo fighting with someone. Ahead is a huge man-eating spider, which is about to feed. The lady rushes out, using one of the magic techniques. And still, the princess cannot go far in her abilities, although she only used the sixth cannon, one of the strongest. Eleonora gets up from the floor. She gasps quietly, but says that everything is fine with her. The wound on her body remains. The girl promises that she will use healing magic later. The young man leaves to look for a way out. It's good that he was calmed down. The girl completely forgot that this body has no immunity to poison. All the same, it is good that the crack that occurred in the past is somehow similar to this one. You need to hurry while there is time. At this time, Kramer and the squad make their way into the thicket. Finally, they found themselves in a place that glows brightly with blue light. All transitions are static and in a state of rest, but there are a lot of similar things here, like monsters. Wolf is going to go inside. He won't wait. Duke Brant has only faithful servants. This is impressive. The rest go there together with the Sir, so that he is not alone. The girl found the same place. There is a yellow snake under the stone. It seems that she is asking for help, but, of course, she is not sure. Theo understands the words. The reptile is trapped behind the crack. It is too pale, exactly the same as the princess, who is getting worse. The girl assures that it is all right. In any case, she must give the egg to the great princess. The words are cut off. The lady loses consciousness. Eleonora seems to open her eyes, but looks even more exhausted. The brunette does not understand how to be and what can help. The young lady has a wound on her side, but thank God she is still alive. The snake turns to the man. She needs to be pulled out from under the stone. The reptile knows how to talk, so it sets conditions that say, "I will help save the baby in exchange for my freedom." If this is a gift from the princess, then the snake must have special abilities. It must be used to the fullest extent. The young man picked up the stone, but immediately the animal rushed further, shouting that it had finally gained freedom. She promised salvation, but decided not to do anything. Everything would have worked if not for the stubbornness of the boy, who grabbed her by the neck and dragged her back. Inside the gap is something strange, vaguely reminiscent of a stone. There is no time. The knights will enter one by one. Kramer does not order to divide into searches. If at least one person makes a mistake, everything will be under threat. Then it will not be good. A movement stone is installed in each crack, so there will be no difficulties when moving. Do not forget where they are. This place is full of unknowns. Trouble can come from any direction. Alex is worried about the princess. The place has changed a little since the last time, but as far as is known, there is no need to worry. Bian is moving forward even so. He uses his power to resist some creature. The 7th level is not subject to everything. It's the same in the cave. The two are fighting. The snake asks to let her go, but it's not a problem for Theo. He doesn't want to leave his girlfriend without help. The man orders to save. He remembers all the moments when the girl helped him. This causes him to develop an unknown kind of power. The body does not listen. The reptile crawls forward, realizing that the child not only knows how to talk to it, but also to control its consciousness. It is hard to believe that the same Tamer is in this place. Something strange is happening. Life is quietly slipping through the cracks. The shackles fell off, because there is nothing left. The snake is looking around. It does not know how to behave further. Perhaps it will be best to run away. The gaze turns to the egg. For some reason, only fear remains inside. This has never happened before, and it would be unreal to equate it. If she is right, then there is something powerful inside. Then you need to act correctly. The snake opens its mouth and glides over Her Majesty. The man screams. He asks for help, and they will not harm him. They tell him out of last strength that this was just a form of help. Theo coughs up blood and falls to the ground. He used the tame ability, although he lacks training. The young man must have died. The image of Edwin, who asked Bliss to live for his sake, appeared before his eyes. It's a pity that she failed again. Whatever will happen, but this time the lady will fight to the victorious end. She will not let the guy die. This is not what he deserves. Kramer's men have gone down. They are looking around. Something is wrong with the air. The movement is going in the other direction. In any case, it seems that the forces are accumulating inside. Better hurry up and look around. Wolf will not waste time. He will use the forces to find Ella. The snake examined the body. The girl died. The soul ascends. Someone quietly but persistently calls Bliss. The blonde is pushed back. It's time to go to the world of the living to do something with the future. Eyes open, vision no longer falls. The wound lingered, and there was only lightness in the body. Probably the snake helped. Theorka was still unconscious, not being ready to use mana. He was very exhausted. Stones fall from above. The lady thinks that this is the end. But then Bayan appears, who breaks them. The girl is happy to see him for the first time in her life. The children will be protected, but all necessary procedures will be carried out only outside. Kramer warns that if they do not leave, the cave will collapse on them. Wolf grabs Theo because he saved Her Majesty. They go to the exit. For the first time, you can see that the crack is shining and almost falling apart. Finally, it's all over. The alliance is out. A huge movement gem is lying outside. It's good that the people are whole and unharmed. The brunette is thankful that he was cured. There were no complications. Kramer clarifies for the last time whether he requires anything else from them, but as it turned out, the answer is no. The assistance is more than enough. Be that as it may, Norbert remembers that he put the guests in danger. It is sad that in the end it all ended like this. Soon the guys will go back to Brant. There is a snake in a cage, and there is a medicine. Eleonora steadfastly endured difficulties. The Duke raised a beautiful daughter who respects her parent. No one knows that Lucas is not the lady's father. There is no need to destroy the illusion. Bayan takes out a pebble from the bag, through which it is possible to communicate with His Majesty. Around it is a blue light, on which there will be a picture. As soon as the connection took place, the young man began to shout, asking when they would return. Theo helpfully explains that his lordship has been in the estate for a long time, due to an illness that has made him emotionally unstable. The carriage moves with the speed of light. The blonde feels that she is feeling nauseous again. Without stopping to rest, they drive back. Bian is in great shape. After everything that happened, he does not look tired, and even asks how the lady feels. The man promises that when they return home, he will feed the girl to the brim with all kinds of delicacies. For her, the most important thing is that the egg is safe. The girl did not even think about how she would be if the egg with an immortal being suddenly broke. She did not know what to do so that the baby would hatch as soon as possible. The gate to the garden opens. The heroine freezes in horror when she sees a huge statue made of gold, installed on top of the fountain. Swords of the Black Sea welcome the guys. They worked hard, and that's the most important thing. Michaela and Barbacha immediately jump into each other's arms, talking about how much they missed the princess. Now it's Lucas's turn. They haven't seen each other for only a few days. For a man, it doesn't mean anything. It's still long, smiling. The young man hugs his daughter. To begin with, you need to check Alex's words. First, the hero saved Marcia, and now he's leading so sweetly. It's about some kind of gift that they've been working on. Ella herself is drawn on the paper, but it looks more like doodles. They even sent a letter to the estate from the imperial family. There are only 5 days until the princess's birthday. Every hour before that, the Duke canceled the trip. And anyway, even this time, nothing will change. The baby decided not to miss such an opportunity under any circumstances. She runs to collect her suitcases. They urgently need to leave. Castiel, as the smartest, found the right words. If they all go to the princess, then first it will be necessary to prepare properly and better rest. There are still 5 whole days until the princess's birthday, but the journey to the palace takes even longer. First, you need to collect a festive set. There is also basic etiquette. Of course, it's just a formality, but everyone must observe it. Castiel is sure of it. They don't have time at all. The girl looks at her friends, who somehow collapsed from fatigue. Today they will rest, but tomorrow they will leave. The girl herself was very tired after everything that happened in the cave, where she almost died. It would be too much to leave again. Today, the heroine still has a scheduled conversation. Marcia must tell the truth so that the Duchess does not worry. As a dance partner, a brunette seems to be the most suitable. It is better to be close to someone you know well. It seems that just yesterday, the maiden was very tiny and fell asleep in Lucas's arms. But now she has grown up and is traveling alone. The girl promises that she will give a gift tomorrow, in the hope that they will leave her alone. But the man still does not shut up. The words "I love you" cut through the air. The lady still remembers how the same man killed her. Anger accumulated in the amulet with a scarlet aura. Marcia immediately met the lady. She really missed her, because she had not seen the baby for a long time. The brunette is fine, as is Eleonora herself. She cannot help but notice that the girl has lost a lot of weight. It is already known about the trip to Rohan. It is good that after all the tests, the heroine returned safe and sound. The woman is as sweet as usual. She was saved by Lucas. Without further delay, the beauty asked directly. The snake was handed over to the swords of the Black Sea. Michaela was the first to dress up the reptile, but it seems that the others did not like the option. Bayane, as one of the biggest enthusiasts, offers to do the same job in a second, a cap on his head and a nipple in his mouth. I want to scream for help. While the three swear, everyone thinks that their option will be the best for a gift. Michaela is pressing on a weak spot. For someone who brought Ella back so late, Wolf is acting too arrogant. The manor will be guarded by Bian, and the girl will go to the castle. His lordship will be asked if he will send the scoundrel this time too. Barbaha also expresses his opinion. The snake does not look very beautiful, and this is not even an opinion, it is a fact. It is impossible to stop arguing. A new wave has started. There is an opinion that everyone in the room knows Reina better than the rest. Finally, the Duke himself appeared. The first thing he does is ask where his daughter is. She has not been seen since the morning. The baby is lying on the bed, sadly looking away. Alex is circling around, but Theo orders to calm down, even though he himself understands that something is wrong. The girl remembers Marcia's words. The story was very important to the little girl, so she asked again to find out. The maid's father was addicted to gambling. Because of poverty, she worked as a seamstress and supported herself. With little work, the brunette could not pay her debts, so she was sold. At that time, there were rumors about the buyer as a cruel person. On the eve of the sale, Lucas came. If it weren't for the Duke, Marcia probably wouldn't be alive anymore. For her, a man is a savior. The little girl was confused. How can one person help, but treats the children in the hostel like garbage? Why he destroyed the peace in the past. The blonde builds a chain. The cause of the destruction was the betrayal of Princess Reina. But no one knows what the lady did that made the man so angry. The girl must find out all the details. She calls the Lonk group. The guys must remember her voice. At first, the heroes were scared, but they were explained that the lady who put the brand says that the baby is telling her to show herself. It is impossible to get out, because the lady is talking with the help of a mental stream of magic. It seems unreal. The blonde explains that she needed to finally leave. She needed to find out about the great princess. Realizing that the case needs to be smeared, the Duchess promises to pay as much as they ask. She is telling the truth. There are 2 days for everything. If the guys don't hurry, they will most likely die. You need to understand responsibility. Bacha and Wolf burst into the room. They almost jumped out of their pants with joy, and the reason is unknown. Bien points to the snake. It is in the same outfit as the Duchess. Now they harmonize perfectly. The girl exclaims, asking what the snake was turned into. According to some, it is now very cute, so there is no problem. If you look at it this way, it's all strange. A small child from the imperial palace should not choose a reptile just like that. Once upon a time, the Kramerov family made the right gift, but it is not clear why exactly. Distracted from his thoughts, Lucas sadly notices that they didn't bring him anything from the trip. It amazes him that he's still thinking about it. The girl decided to first give the pendant that was given to her. They somehow react strangely, as if this witch is very important. Only two assistants know that the lady got the witch from the beggar. But it's better not to say anything. It's time to go, not just chat. It's time to go on the train. Michaela asks to do everything faster and leave, but Bian wants to take 150 photos in different poses. The baby does not understand why all this is necessary, but obviously, she has no choice. As Wolf thought, the pictures are no longer pleasing at all. He also wants to go with them. The blonde is told to keep quiet, because it is already almost at the peak of emotions. The others easily tell. Because they are accompanying the lady, things are different here. Theo and Alex are people of the princess, so even they go, but they leave Bian behind. The heroine does not know how to calm him down. His lordship's luggage was loaded. It was time to leave. It was not visible that any of the guys got tired, although they killed various monsters on the way all the way. This is the difference between a man and the Ma tribe. It is much easier for them. Michaela immediately asks to sit next to Her Majesty. The blonde herself chose who will be with her. And it is, of course, Teorca. He is a personal assistant and should be close to everyone. Barbaha insists, asking to leave the boy at home. He is from the tribe. At the moment of his arrival, the knights may run there. Once the conversation went to the other side, the lady reveals the cards. The boy has the ability to tame. This cannot be neglected. Warren closes the curtains so as not to see Bian anymore, and the girl asks to demonstrate her skills. Ordinary words are not enough for her. The beauty screams, resisting. The young man is not ready yet. The situation may get out of control. Do not doubt the words, because there are no people among the Ma tribe who would master taming. The highest level is control over the psyche, an ability that everyone fears. The emperor will be glad to meet the tamer. The baby finally asks Theo to sit next to him. As a personal assistant, he must obey without question. The girl opens her eyes. It turned out that she fell asleep, although she did not even want to. They finally arrived at Rodberg. The capital looks, as always, beautiful. In the past life, everything was exactly the same, which is even more breathtaking. Once upon a time, the lady was a sorceress in the main tower of the city, but now she has to think about her future in a different direction. Alex shouts that he is seeing something like this for the first time. This is definitely the capital. Because everything here is big and beautiful, it takes your breath away. The truly cool places are still ahead. The young man does not suspect it. Masterov Street is one of the attractions. In this place, there are magicians, prosecutors, adventurers. You can buy the best weapons there, regardless of your place of work. The owners of some shops hide dwarves who make spears, swords, and all that. Their ability to make weapons is called a gift from God. The girl really hoped that everything would go well until the moment when she was told that there was no money. The baby does not understand how it happened. It turned out that all the funds were spent on a golden statue in the form of a beauty. Brant is a rich family, but in order for Ella to get more out of gold, all the gold coins had to be melted down. The money for the trip was taken from Castiel's savings. The words remind me of some kind of joke. The lady's mistake is that she considered the people around her to be adults. The girl had stolen many times before, but there are many guards everywhere. The companions will forgive everything, because for them, Ella is a family. But the knights are another matter. They protect this place with the help of the power of the Chan tribe. A nearby emperor hired people from the Holy Land to protect Rodberg for his own security. It's bad that these knights are suspicious of Lucas. It's annoying when things get out of control. A carriage rushes forward. It turns out that the Duke of Nakrab Nelba Holland has arrived. He smiles obnoxiously because he sees Adrian. There are rumors that the man has a daughter out of wedlock. It is clear that there is a desire to succeed everywhere, but still it is necessary to temper the enthusiasm a little. If the young man does not sleep with everyone in a row, maybe it will be easier for him. His body shakes. The lady does not understand why he is so angry. The Duke's daughter, Claudia, gets out of the carriage. She doesn't know how long they will stay or not. Initially, the way was to a toy store. The baby also doesn't know etiquette. She noticed the blonde and laughs, obviously, but feels inferior to change it. She is going to hit. Mrs. Holland bends the stick. The girl's father grabs her hand, but if so, she slaps him to stay behind. Both have no right to be here. The man offers to go to the store. Claudia considers herself merciful, so she won't behave like that again. Ellie wants to scream, but she is quietly asked to hold herself in her hands. She did not expect that they would have to keep quiet. There were too many extra eyes as nights around. The girl did not understand why she had to endure such treatment. The little girl thought that her father would resist. But nothing. The swords of the Black Father will punish. It was necessary to get rid of both the girl and her father. The heroine decides to relieve the pain a little. She takes a cold cloth and applies it to her face, asking how the young man feels. A smile forms on the face immediately. If the hero had known that this would happen, he would have turned the other cheek too. If the man doesn't say anything like that, the girl will definitely get angry. She still doesn't understand. And that's even worse. Barbaha almost spoke, but Michaela shut him up. He quickly apologizes for what he tried to tell. The heroine thought about what she was talking about, until she noticed the same pendant that she had given her. She was a little embarrassed inside. Since they have already arrived in the capital, the lady will meet with the musicians of Lank. The red-haired woman has been attached to the beauty. This spoils everything that is possible. They had just arrived, so Warren stopped the girl. He held out a bag of coins. It turned out that the money was still there. The group went to Masterov Street. There are many things that you want to buy, but you need to wait a little longer. In the shop, Michaela asks to make an artifact to help the Tamer. The prices for such things have risen, and the production is difficult, but they don't care. According to memories from the previous life, the girl saved the dwarf. This time she does not have such an opportunity. A pity. According to the deadline, it will take 5 days only to search for the stone. Considering that the work time will be longer, Michaela smiles threateningly, asking to complete it in 2 days. Not long ago, the lady restrained herself and tried to be calm, but now everything has evaporated somewhere. The man found something important. This is the only artifact for tamers on the Merchant Street. The pocket watch enhances the ability. The baby freezes in amazement. They are fantastically lucky. They won't have to wait even 2 days. There is a limitation. It cannot be used for more than an hour. The witch is sold for 30 gold. The girl holds out a gift to Teork. He will be able to use a small amount of mana. The boy thanks. When using it, you should concentrate and release the force. It is not difficult at all. Alex was inspecting the goods and accidentally broke a lot. He will have to pay for that too. There is no way out. It's lucky that he serves Ella. Otherwise, he would have ended up in the dungeon. The girl looks into an empty bag. She has to pay Lanka. And there is absolutely no money left, unfortunately. That's all. A shout is heard ahead. These are the same people. It was necessary to tell about the meeting place so as not to run around the whole garden. Michaela understood that these were Eleonora's friends. They were treated to an excellent dessert in exchange for a fortune. The girl vaguely explained everything, but she did not think that everything would work out. I had to threaten Lanka so that they would play along. The blonde asked the girl to leave so that they could discuss something. It is sad that the lady has some secrets of her own. She thinks that this is quite normal. She has grown up a long time ago and cannot be considered the same baby as before. It seems that only yesterday she was like a little finger, and now she is already walking. The blonde again asks to leave them alone. They have a secret conversation that cannot be interfered with. The guys are burning with anger because they were hoping for money. But here it's just words. Michaela does not agree. Teorka and Alex stay here. It's unfair. It turned out that these two are already friends. Those men have an intolerance for new acquaintances. This can traumatize them, and then it will not be so rosy. The heroine has not seen them for a long time. She would like to play quite a bit. The red-haired woman promises that if they insist, she will still stand outside. As soon as the door closed, the little girl began to try to explain that she had unforeseen difficulties. They had obtained information, and now they are not satisfied with such a thing. The girl exhales, trying not to focus only on the bad. She first offers something interesting, in the quality of a chain and precious stones, which she bought in that shop on the Street of Traders. As she thought, the situation quickly changed. The beauty left herself a crystal layer made in the shape of a lollipop. For her, this thing is irreplaceable. Information about the great princess is already available. All the bandit guilds were put on their ears just for the sake of it. In simple language, Reina is considered crazy. No more. It is impossible to imagine what she is doing. The actions of the baby are abnormal, and just seeing it, a person will be in even greater horror. Killing mice, cutting toys. These are all her hobbies. You can easily find traces of blood in the room. In the imperial palace, everyone knows about the cruelty of the girl. You cannot hide when something like this happens here. Even her father is unable to stop it. No matter how much he tries to change the course of events, Pepe heard that the princess's mother died early. But the real reason is not this. There is something else hidden from the eyes of others. The main character perfectly remembers that in her past life, the great Reina was a bad person. She hoped that it would be different here. The northern character is obvious in her since birth. Then she will inevitably be called a villain. If this is indeed the case, this time Bliss is obliged to break up with her, just for the sake of everything being normal. Of course, she is incredibly sorry for the young lady, but she has no other way out. One cannot doom herself and her future. Of course, the story about the villain is absolutely true. For some reason, Pepe suddenly started talking about the Duke of Holland. If they get a little more money, they will definitely tell all the details. At the most inopportune moment, Barbacha burst into the room. He and Adrian met the newly arrived high-ranking people, and then went for a walk around the district. The man hates to adhere to etiquette. Sometimes it even seems like too special a job for him. Michaela asks him to stop scratching his tongue, and better leave if Lucas is somewhere nearby. Everything is bad. He cannot be allowed to talk to the guys. It is necessary to leave before a disaster occurs. The little girl promises that as soon as the money appears, she will contact the group. They only wave, because they cannot treat someone who can give them something badly. The girl realized that she needed to find out if the story with Reina was true. Before going to sleep, the father kisses the girl, promising that they will see each other again early in the morning. As soon as the door closed, the lady jumped on the spot. Now she knows what to do next. The baby has no idea how this staff works, but she understands that she needs to check everything. Usually it is made of crystal layers that can reproduce the events that happened. This item must be capable of something similar. The girl plans to check all the information herself. She will know if there is anything else to start using the witch. First, you need to add a little mana. Finally, everything works. But the staff emits a bright light. Now it will be possible to check everything. The beauty asks to show her the princess. Reina is sitting at the table with her family and looks sadly at the plate. The father is worried and asks if you like the dishes. It seemed that everything was prepared, as the beauty ordered. The mistress asks to eat at least a little, just a little more, and the girl will really faint. The late empress would not want the great princess to live like this. These words make the blonde tightly tighten the hem of her dress. It is noticeable that she is uncomfortable. The father offers to feed his daughter. Maybe this way it will be a little easier for her. He holds out a spoon. There is a sweet potato pie that she asked for, squeezing harder. The lady jumps up to slap the man. She doesn't want anything. The brothers state the fact that the little girl was spoiled too much. She screams that no one will want to eat something like that. It is too primitive. The girl said that she does not like it. For some reason, no one listens to her. She does not need a father or a family. It is good to be alone, but in peace. Reina orders everyone to leave. She waves her hands, showing with her whole appearance how much she doesn't like all of this. It's all too cruel. Even though it's not Mom who died. For a moment, watching Ella thought that there was some other reason. Pepe's words are remembered. What he tried to say was probably not just that. He had reasons to think exactly like that. The brother hits the girl in the face. The father asks why it was necessary to do it. He does not believe that such a thing happened. And after all, no one taught such a boy. The blonde, looking at the layer, raises an eyebrow. In fact, all this leaves an unpleasant feeling in the stomach. The castle turns out to be a complete mess. With excessive care, it is not surprising to become a villain. Now it is clear why there are such rumors. The girl just feels cornered. The empress also raises her voice. She asks the princess to calm down. Hoping that this will work, such a habit is completely wrong. One cannot talk to His Majesty in such a tone. The little girl should ask for forgiveness as soon as possible. It is strange, but the child obeys. The woman promises that she will calm her daughter down. Nothing like that will happen. They will just go to the rooms to chat. Ella doesn't understand what it was now. It's somehow strange to understand that Reina's reaction was like fear. The door to the room opens, and here the most interesting thing begins. The girl is thrown on the floor, while the queen shouts at her. For some reason, the child cannot learn the basics. What they say to her must be a little different. That the mother, that the daughter, both are short and insignificant. Smiling with an evil smile, the brunette tells the shocking truth that she killed the first empress. When Eleonora listened, she could not have hoped for something like that. It really shocked her. The reaction is different. It is unbelievable that the princess is exposed to this from a woman. She should behave properly. But she does terrible things behind closed doors. The girl's mother, a concubine, died of a chronic disease. Every time Bliss went back in time, nothing had changed. The story was exactly the same. The well-known Priscilla, full of motherly love, not even for her own baby, saved the last thing that the girl had and raised the princess as her own daughter. But it turned out that this was a real lie. Before that, there was a beautiful picture that crumbled. Brant does not know how to react to such a thing. Such a thing should not happen in the imperial palace. For some reason, the lady did not guess what should have been obvious. It is necessary to find a clue to resolve the situation. The eyes scan the room. There is surveillance magic on the ceiling. It acts so that the princess does not do anything. The baby tries not to cry and quietly asks to show her mommy. It is possible, but in return, the lady will behave as decently as possible. A portal opened, more like a transparent mirror. The reflection of a woman with red hair is visible. The Empress is alive, which is strange, but she is in a critical condition, and the power emanating from Priscilla's ring forces her to stay on the other side. Jewelry has the ability to take life. This is definitely black magic. There is too much involved. Now Ella understood what needs to be done. She has to save Reina if a girl grows up in such conditions. There is nothing surprising in her betrayal of Lucas. The only thing that the blonde does not know is how to check her plan so that everything ends well. She can use the staff to find the dungeon, but the queen must be hidden with the help of black magic. Everything is not so simple. In this guise, the maiden cannot resist such witchcraft. She needs to find a person who can help. She hopes that there is at least one normal wizard from the tower in the capital. Perhaps there is someone, but it is not clear how to persuade him. Now Ella does not appear as Bliss. As in the past, she is not a mistress, but just a child. It is necessary to find at least some way. Even in such a body, one can easily convince someone who is capable of resisting dark forces. Suddenly, something that was impossible to expect came to mind. The beauty freezes, realizing that she has someone to go to, grabs the bag that the heroine has filled with everything she needs. She breaks into the room to her friends. It's time for Alex and Theo to get up. A very important matter has appeared. A man with a bright outfit is already closing the door to his workshop, but then he hears shouts. He is asked to wait. Red eyes and silver hair remind something. Judging by the rumors, Brant's daughter is in front of him. I wonder what brought her there at such a late time. If you hurry and run, the magic of invisibility will disappear. However, it seems that everything is not bad. The maiden tells that they have a request. They left Alex at home to pretend to be a princess until he is gone. A magician named Stackhouse is interested in what kind of request, of course. He will try to help. Because he is not in a position to refuse so easily, if he fails, he will persuade him. The main character will not receive a means of resisting black magic. It is necessary to move. There is nothing else left. The lady asks to lean in a little closer to her to tell the truth. It is somehow related to the secret. In fact, the friend is being treated terribly. The girl could ask the adults. But she can't, because the stepmother locked up her own mother and is now making fun of them. Ella herself is unable to cope. She already understands this. That is why she came to this place. The girl asks to borrow magic, because the enemy uses dark energy. This is no longer a joke. The man reacts naturally, asking where the lady knows such details. Wizard Stackhouse is known for his love for children. He is still a weirdo, focused on creating toys that have abilities. Such a person will not leave the situation so easily, of course. He will not sit idly by when a child suffers. There is no more time to wait. The girl falls to her knees, asking for help, even if he does not believe a single word. The heroine begs to change something, and it seems that the man agrees. The only thing is that he has some condition of the deal. This time, the wounds on Reina's body are more serious than usual. At the moment when the power of the ring weakens, It is impossible to hit the area on which the magic is spread. The young man previously mentioned that why, giving an understanding of what this is all about. The Empress asks for forgiveness. The girl sitting in front of her is constantly in a rage, so the lady did not understand that the witchcraft has dried up. The princess is very strong. You should be careful. The man said that the ingredient for the strength that hides the wound is the mother's blood. But this is very bad. There was a knock at the door. It turned out that the emperor himself had arrived to check on his daughter's condition. He asked if the place of the blow hurt. The girl promised that she was fine. The master had given her the necessary help. The blonde told that he ordered Reina's brother, so that they will not eat together. Maybe it will last for some time. But, of course, it is not certain. The heroine interrupts the monologue. She wants to be given a rest, because the man wants to have only good dreams. The Empress hides her nasty smile. The door closes. As soon as the girl is left alone in the room, she immediately grabs a knife, with which she is now trying to kill her favorite toy. The rabbit lies helplessly on the bed. The soft filler is lying everywhere. Reina exhales as soon as the flow of anger has passed. She begins to apologize to the witch. She didn't want to vent all her anger like that. The blonde hears a voice from the window. There is a semi-transparent man who says that he knows everything. Ella knows what happened. She promises that she will definitely find the beauty's mother. She has nothing to worry about. The child is still worried. It seems that she is in a dream. It is not clear how the stranger got into the castle. In a low voice, Brandt asks to be allowed to help her. Still not listening. The girl slaps herself on the cheek, realizing that she is still in the real world. The behavior of the arrival is angry. There is no need to hit herself on the bruised place. Reina does not believe that anyone understands her feelings. Neither her brothers nor her father know about what is happening behind closed doors. But this child is aware. One would like to hope that finally all the horror will end, and it will be a little more simple. The girl asks to speak a little more quietly. She carefully looks at the ceiling with the camera. The magic of surveillance extends only to the inhabitant of the room. First, you need to convey something important. The beauty took something out of the bag. At first, the princess does not quite understand. She has an object in her hands that will help save her and her mother. Questions are pouring in. It is not clear why Ella would do something like that. She should deal with things that directly relate only to her. The condition of Stackhouse turned out to be not so difficult, of course. The security of the Duchess is important to him. There is no one among the residents of Rodberg who does not know about the girl. And just in case, he will add reducing and protective magic to the magic of invisibility, just in case everything goes well. The blonde does not tell all the details. It will remain a secret for Reina. The only thing the lady can say is that it will definitely pull the heroine out, allowing her to live a good life. The blue-eyed girl thinks. She sincerely hopes that she will really be able to become free, just like her mother. The girl quickly explained how to use the object that she handed over. Steps were heard outside the door, and a voice asking, "Princess, are you sleeping?" She hastily tells that she got up. The night air is refreshing, so it's better to air out a little. The little girl jumped on the bird, standing on the windowsill. In a second, it decreased in size and said goodbye. The girl carefully looked at the boy who was sitting next to the lady, the man who entered the room. The girl said that she just saw someone. The old man came because he sensed mana, or because of the magic of surveillance. Whatever it was. It's disgusting. Everything happened again and again. We need to put an end to this so that they don't come back again. Because in the end, it's so clear that there's no point. Theo distracts from his thoughts. Something suspicious can be seen below. Everything is lying on the ground. The knights either died or fell into hibernation. The girl asks the boy to lower himself. He concentrated, releasing mana. Now you can control the eagle's consciousness. The servant was very worried when they first came out. But now he is doing great. All the same, I would like to know what is happening there. The magic of hypnosis has started to work. But there are many people. You need to have a high level to achieve this. Looking around, the lady tries to find at least one clue that will help her. A couple can be seen below. It becomes nauseating, because this is the Duke of Holland and the Empress. They made themselves noble, and now, under the night sky, they hug in secret from their lovers. This is terrible behavior. Trying to get away from the man, the heroine wipes her face and asks if he brought what they asked for. Of course, everything is in place. Smiling, Holland pulls out a box. There is something precious in it. You can immediately tell that it is illegal. Ella didn't know that there was almost chaos in the estate. Barbaha is knocking on the door, asking to open it. From that side, Alex is trying to hold it. It's early morning. But for some reason, the guys still haven't returned. It's incredibly annoying. The Duke himself arrived. He asks what is happening, and hears that the daughter is not opening. The red-haired man wanted to see how the princess was sleeping, but he did not succeed. The blonde realizes that, it seems, he has been abandoned. While the two are on their mission to be happy together, one of the assistants promises that he will bring the key now so that the door can finally be opened. The hero asks, with his last strength, what the father needs, imitating a girl's voice. The Duke freezes in horror. I want to think that the time of mutation has not come. It was necessary to be silent, because now the swords of the Black Sea are ordered to open the rooms as soon as possible to understand what is happening there. The girl managed to return just in time. She is all wet, but says that she wrapped herself up for the night, and now it has become a little hot. The result is on her face. The baby is almost caught. Instead of agreeing to a lullaby from her father, she closes the exit. Alex immediately begins to freak out, asking why they came back so late. The girl apologizes. They should have arrived earlier, but this did not happen. However, thanks to the guy, everything went great, so there is nothing to worry about. Lonk was entrusted with the work, so he had to arrive a little later than usual. It's time for the kid to stop crying, and even better to get up from under the bed where he is. The question about the incomprehensible group was heard, and the girl realized that the young man did not remember them. These were the three guys on whom she put a brand in the forest, yet their names had never been heard aloud before. The matter was very urgent, so the princess had no choice in any case. In the end, since they tried so hard to breathe out as much as possible, the guys must be tired, so it's better to go back and rest. Later, they will discuss all the details. The guys say goodbye to the ice, and the eagle flies away as soon as Theo's control falls. Vanity made her worry a little. Her head was pounding, even though the lady found out the truth. She couldn't help but be happy. It was truly true. If the heroine had continued to live in obscurity, the chain of destruction would have started again. It was difficult to get this chance, so now she should try hard. A meeting with the emperor or the great Reina is not an easy task, even for a prepared person. The gaze turns to an egg for some reason. Today, it looks a little different. Nothing like that happened. But the reason for the changes cannot be found. From some point, it began to shine brighter. The girl remembers how she was given the pendant, and that beggar, perhaps her future pet, reacts to human hearts. If so, then this time, while the girl will save the princess, this creature may hatch and create chaos. Lonk came to the place. They were ordered to sneak in from the very morning. At first, they could not believe their eyes. But yes, they will have to go against the imperial palace. The Duchess seems to have lost her mind completely. It is necessary to ask for a larger reward. Simply asking to buy a house will not work. It is better to take the princess's mansion. It's time to get down to business. The heroine is going to change her clothes. The maid has arrived in the room. The stranger who explained how to use the magic object is still running through her head. I want to hope that she and her mother will see each other very soon. Duke Brant arrived at the place of celebration with his entire retinue. Around the bustle, because many people see Adrian in front of them for the first time. He has already become somewhat reminiscent of an animal of unknown origin. There is Lonk in the air. On a balloon, the guys succeeded. The young man is introduced, and his daughter's name is called. People immediately start whispering. The second wave of admiration began. The man turned out to be much younger and more attractive than the female part of the population thought. One of the aristocrats blushes a little. She was afraid that his red eyes would look frightening. But he is a real handsome man. Holland starts to get angry, even though he doesn't want to show it. Brant had no right to behave like that. But the result is the same, alas. The hero should not receive so much attention when the Archduke is nearby. As soon as they entered, a huge face caught their eye, which should be absent, once again remaining in his estate, continuing his seclusion. Claudia shouts to her father, complaining that the princess's dress is more beautiful than hers. but the little girl is asked to be quiet. No matter what, they are still the same. When this family is together, a mess begins. Probably the maid does not know that Holland is in love with the Empress. A familiar voice is heard. Kramer appears in front of them. He thought that the man would not be able to be present today. The girl remembers how she lied about the snake being a medicine for Lucas. Now it goes against her. They exchange smiles. It seems that the young man is doing well. The brunette notices that thanks to the kind heart of the Duchess, her father looks healthy and full of strength. The heroine does not want to be caught in a lie, so she hopes that they will leave soon. In the end, it was decided to introduce Ella to Kramer's son. He is standing somewhere behind. The girl freezes. Horror is reflected in her eyes. She looks around, hoping that Edwin is there. Finally, the man came up. He explained that he was looking at some books that interested him. The blonde, bowing his head in respect, smiles, and greets the Duke and his daughter. Now the young man is only 14 years old, no more. A terrible picture stands before his eyes. Once the young man was killed, he could no longer breathe. Bowing in response, the heroine says, "Hello." She noticed that she is starting to stutter. She needs to pull herself together. Now she is just Eleonora Brandt. The two are no longer in the past, where they had a special relationship. The baby is unable to change. Tears are streaming down her face. This makes her feel terrible and justify that some kind of speck got into her eye. The blonde refuses to be examined. Nothing like that happened. Before the conversation was fully developed, Theo jumped forward, spreading his arms to protect the beauty. Edwin better move further away. It seems there was a misunderstanding. The Duke orders the servant to apologize. Bowing his head, the brunette still asks for forgiveness. Because of his strength, he will be more careful from now on. Kramer sees how the boy worries about his mistress. But there is no one below him in status. He should be more careful. This time, the blonde will forgive his rudeness. But if the man behaves like that with others, the princess will swear a lot, because she will be ashamed. Girl, it's a pity that everything ended like this. She inadvertently allowed Theo to hear disgusting things. Finally, they announced the arrival of the imperial family of Faivla. People around start screaming. They traveled such a long way to greet the man's daughter. He is pleased that the people treat them so well. Initially, the hero did not know that so many people will gather today. He is very touched by this, so he cannot say anything else. The princess angrily looks the other way. The same evil sorcerer has also arrived. He was not forgotten in the castle. Reina noticed a child very similar to the one who handed her the magical object. All the ladies begin to congratulate in one voice. Thanks to the prayers of the people, she turned 10 years old today, and this is the Jubilee age. It seems that the lady was only recently a baby, but she has already grown up so much. She has become a beauty, which is now obliged to read. Priscilla smiles and also congratulates her on her birthday. Ella is disgusting to watch what is happening. She would like to deal with everything right now, but that's just not going to happen. Everything will happen at the moment when the lands of Rohan are announced. Lonk will act. It remains only to wait a little. They will take out the cake that the emperor prepared for his daughter. The red-haired man exclaims. He is shocked, because there is something beautiful in front of him. Barbaka always had problems with expressing himself. For the sake of the great princess, the man chose the best gifts in the same way as everyone gathered for the celebration. One of the swords of the Black Sea quietly asks Ella. He worries that it will not be enough, because they only have one snake. The maiden assures that there will be no problems. The main character always chose a reptile. Turka comes forward. He is immediately recognized because of his pocket watch, a boy from the Yaman tribe. But everyone knows that he has the ability to tame. He brought a gift personally prepared by Eleanor for Her Majesty. The emperor asks about the snake. Perhaps it has some abilities. It is very smart and understands everything. The girl rushes to the pet's place. The queen asks to stop, but the prince assures that everything will be fine anyway. Reina is asked to say that she liked it most. Now the girl has her only friend, an important snake. The heroine laughs because she is flattered. She must be really happy. This is a real delight for her father. Standing on the sidelines, Holland is even more angry. The girl exchanged his gift for some kind of reptile. This is completely wrong. The pebble on the neck lit up. The voice asks to say that Eleonora liked it. The body is completely enveloped by the energy of darkness. Reina's behavior has changed. The blonde watches it and doesn't understand why, although everything seems to be logical. After the lady said that she likes Ella, the snake bit her hand. Everyone around screams, realizing what a terrible thing happened. The emperor drops the reptile. The princess must be cured by any means. Call the medics before she gets even worse. They shout at Brant, although he tries to say that he did not intend anything. The girl did not expect such a thing. She does not understand what to do. The snake hides in the tamer's clothes and quietly says that she was just trying to help. The man asks to find out the details. The princess was surrounded by black magic. The baby only helped to get rid of it, nothing more, because she understood that her condition could worsen. Of course, in no case did the animal attack the great princess. On the contrary, the help should have been more sincere. The wounds on the body were there from the beginning. The light appeared and comes from the mutilations that are on the arms and legs. If they do not believe her, it is better to check the state of the princess. The expression on Her Majesty's face is joyful. She is smiling. It turns out that on that day in the cave, the snake also wanted to help Eleonora when it opened its mouth to bite and let her wake up. The empress runs out. Brant uses a tamer. He was going to take Reina hostage and threaten his lordship. The magician agrees with the words of his mistress. Eleonora is no longer able to hold back. She screams to explain herself. The knights arrived. The king ordered the duke's family to be arrested. The girl looked around with horror. She did not know how to be. Edwin steps forward. It seems that he has something to say. When studying demonic creatures, the young man saw animals with such power as this one. The words turned out to be true, but it is still difficult for the emperor to believe. He is not sure that the maiden is okay, but the main thing is her health. Sometimes the animals fall into the cracks, where they get a power unknown to mankind. It is passed on to the cub by inheritance. The magician said that the snake cured Reina, that only they were watching, but Kramer cannot lie. First, you need to conduct an investigation. The blonde is worried that if Ella is captured, there will be no connection with her mother. They want to drag the princess back to the castle. Lonk is watching the incident. If it goes like this, Eleonora will die. It's time to act. An explosion was heard. Everyone rushed to the main cathedral square. A huge layer of dark magic appeared, in which someone was. No one understands who is there. Only Reina jumps out of her seat, shouts her mother's name. Everything is developing faster than planned. The empress runs after Reina, shouting for her to stop. The time has come to put an end to this hell, the main character thinks. 1,000,000 shards fall down, on which all the actions, everything that the queen, the magician, and the duke created, are displayed. A girl can't help herself. She cries while being congratulated on her birthday. This is truly the best gift. Everyone is confused, because something happened that could not have been predicted. The king sees a pendant on that woman. He freezes in horror. The red-haired girl falls down. Reina cries, calls her mother again so that she wakes up. Priscilla realizes that the girl is bored. But this is not a funny joke. The baby says it doesn't fit. It's time to use the magic item. At the moment of touching Venora, the lady screams her name. The woman has transformed, but still remains unconscious. The empress screams about the conspiracy. She was always on the king's side and took care of the princess. It is impossible for a dead man to survive. His Majesty must understand for himself that he is a fake. The man was a witness when the girl left his life. In his head, the blonde has moments with the girl. She made a stone for her daughter's birthday. It reminds her of eyes. The beauty made one copy for her husband as well, but he thought that it would be too much for a man. If this continues, the only experience of using magic will be lost. The magician promises to take care of the body by getting rid of it. They want to throw the empress and the boy into prison. His Majesty orders to give Venora proper treatment. What is happening will not lead to good. It will not be easy to deal with it once they have been exposed. Right in front of the aristocracy. It seems that the girl cannot speak, so it will be necessary to check this as well. The man approaches his wife, not paying attention to the resisting empress. The mage managed to break free. He uses force when cornered. He tried so hard, but he still couldn't act on Reina. Ella heard the stench. This is the power of oblivion, which is dangerous. The girl immediately jumps out of her seat. She took it too lightly. Even if this is an item obtained from the Stackhouse, it will not be able to protect against the power of the man. If the emperor loses his memories, The destruction of the world will repeat itself. Eleonora uses her power to try to get the old man out of the way. He sent energy in response and almost killed the girl. At the last moment, the father ran forward to protect her. It was impossible to use one's abilities. But now a person is like coal, with a funnel ahead. The knights arrived. They sensed the magic of demonic origin. The lady's power was gone. After the distortion of memories, the atmosphere suddenly changed. The girl realizes that this is beyond her control. Then, being in the courtyard of the castle, she was afraid that the group had been caught. First, they checked for a mage. He is pure, an ordinary mortal. The girl was afraid that the people around did not know what was happening. Perhaps it was some kind of effect after magic. The words of Korea come to mind. The demon king, who has lost his powers, uses this ability in the form of strength to remain human-like. The price cannot be easily paid even by Lucas himself. It is unbelievable that he decided to break the rules. Perhaps all this means that the use of such magic helps to maintain vigilance and caution. They want to take Venora to the sacred territory to conduct an investigation. She may be possessed by the devil. The powers of the knights include only the protection of Rodberg. Although they have received power, they cannot heal the queen. Reina has lost her mind. If she tries to heal her mother, she will gradually get better, but nothing will change. The snake quietly tells the tamer that as it turns out, she is in a position to help. The princess realized it herself and broke away. The girl falls to her knees, begging for something to be changed. For her, it cannot be important. Now the heroine is trying to explain to her father that the reptile is magical. She healed Reina herself. There was no wound or bruise left on her. The old man agrees to try at least once. The animal is angry because they doubt her to the very end. Even Stackhouse could not completely change the course of the situation. Ella remains hopeful that everything will work out this time. Dark magic gradually leaves Venora's body, opening her eyes. She calls His Majesty, her voice still weak. It is not for nothing that they took the snake from Kramer. The Duke suggests leaving. This is a reaction to magic that distorts memories. The girl does not know what Lucas is thinking about. The daughter will not be killed right away, but he saved the lady's life. She is probably in a hurry to draw conclusions. The Emperor asks Brant what he wants. Now they have a snake with abilities, for which thanks are required. Initially, it was necessary to get the lands of Rohan, but now it is not clear what will happen next. Reina embraces her savior. As soon as gratitude was heard, the egg exploded, and the little dragon's soft squeak was heard. Finally, the baby hatched. The girl waited too long for this. Obviously, he wants to say something important, because he squeaks even on the way home. No one sees that the blonde is being watched by a suspicious crow. The power of the demon has weakened, noticeably weakened. The heroine stands in the middle of chaos. The resolution was clearly prevented. But for some reason, Reina is insane even now. Lady opens her eyes. Lately, she has so many thoughts that she has started having strange dreams. A week has already passed since the birth of Sinistra. After the incident, the authority of the royal family fell. When the news was published, the whole country was shocked. That magician was associated with demons. The Empress and the Duke provided the ingredients, and their other crimes were also uncovered. Criminals will not be left alive for anything. Now they are also looking for the one who showed the true essence of the royal family. A magical barrier was imposed on the recording. There is no more evidence. Alas, no one will be caught. Reina has been through a terrible thing, but she still suffers from rumors. One would like to hope that she will not become cruel again. There is something else. Since they returned to the estate, Lucas has never visited his daughter. If you think like that, then there is no explanation why he saved the baby. Some reason prompted him to act. The girl promises herself that she will think about what is more important. She will fly away with the cause of the destruction. Theo entered the room. The lady had not come out for a while. She said that she wanted to rest a little because she was not in the mood yet. It is not clear what will happen to Theo if the heroine leaves the estate. She wants to understand the sons. A tamer is indispensable. The blonde thinks about how to explain the fact that they will have to leave, run away with her. This is all the same as turning away from Lucas. It seems that the lady worries too much, and Sinister is more sensitive to the host's mood. The princess is offered to go get some fresh air. She needs to put her thoughts in order. Voices are heard, offering to lock the door, because Ellie can use magic. In a moment, the lady made the right decision. She opens the window, offers to go with her, then assures that it is a joke. If there is no other way to explain, then you should not be selfish. Even if the girl is caught, she should be alone. The heroine asks to make sherbet, which the brunette loves so much, but it will take time. You can wait. The situation is at hand. At this time, the beauty is about to run away. She jumps out of the window. She doesn't need to look around. It's all over a long time ago. The baby froze because she heard a strange voice greeting her. A dark crow hovers in the air, and the same one, surrounded by an animal aura of dark magic. Korea turns into a human. The hand gently touches Eleonora. The soul of a demon inhabits the body, and the girl herself is transported somewhere. Empty space around. Summoning many creatures, the man laughs. He and Brant have not seen each other for a long time, perhaps even too long. Many demons scream about betrayal. The hero had no right to choose people, returning to their world. Lowering his voice, the hero asks what they have done here. It is better to free the girl from demonic subjugation. In this case, you will have to kill the child. The demon will not stop before what he can easily do. The little girl seems to have died. It is suspiciously quiet around her, as if she is watching what is happening from the outside. Korea wants to kill the former king of creatures. It is obvious that the swords of the Black Sea are trying to protect him, but this does not immediately help. Warren promises that he will do everything for his lordship. The others agree. You shouldn't stress over some mollusk. The brunette returned with the goodies and froze, not understanding what was happening. Lucas was being attacked from all sides, not giving way. It is strange that the guys are defending themselves. Even Castiel understands that it is impossible to do this forever. If Korea himself was in front of them, it would not be difficult to destroy it. And Ella, as a hostage, complicates everything. Usually, the demons perform the rite of submission directly, but the man uses the shell of the one the Duke cares for. The man still has a plan. They are afraid that when the blonde uses force in such a state, he will have to destroy Eleonora herself, too. Adrian orders to release his daughter, even though he is the target. Correa orders the army to stop. He has something to think about. The man will kill the leader. He rushes forward to do everything, but Castiel stands up for protection. The mistress cannot be allowed to suffer. Apparently, the demon forgot that their forces are not equal. It was necessary to think before he went into battle. Obviously, everything fell apart. Adrian got fed up, asked to leave. He forced them to leave the battlefield. It turned out that the child was not the weak point of the man. The girl looks around. The space is distorted. The screeching of Cinna, who is trying to reach the lady's consciousness, is heard. Tiorka himself can be seen ahead. The window closes again. He failed to take control of his body. It is too difficult. Corey noticed the immortal dragon on the man's shoulder. He is still a baby, but strong. The young man bends down, as if he is in pain. The girl is trying to drive away the demon. It doesn't matter, even if she lives. The creature must leave her body, because this is an unfair battle. It seems that the body gradually belongs to the girl again, but she realizes that if you are careless, it will only get worse. Korea is still somewhere inside. He is still fighting with the baby. He did not think that she would be so strong that she would try to resist. Finally, Ella fell down. Her body was unconscious. Her eyes opened. She was in the form of bliss, past herself. There were 2 doors in front of her, only white space around. A voice is heard. The heroine died. But she was saved, it seems. She does not remember who she contacted. People call him God, the most powerful. The girl has almost no time left. The time has come to decide. There is a moment, and you can enter any door. It is available. Gola Boglazea does not understand why. If time is running out, she is put before the choice. Why is the lady standing in the courtyard of the estate? She understood that the guys were going to arrange a holiday of the same scale as Reina's. The little girl thought that they wanted to kill her, and in the end, she caused a lot of trouble on herself. The last condition of the choice remained. Ella must be returned. The earth in the real world is shaking. It's hard to believe, but it's because Eleonora died. It's too painful for a man to understand. The girl has to find a thing forgotten by Lucas. It is not clear why the red-haired girl became so strange. She had to go through a lot of suffering. In any case, the world will collapse. There is no point in shifting the responsibility to the lady. However, the choice is still made. She enters the bright door. The girl screams that she is not dead. No one hears her. But she managed to wake up. Adrian felt relieved. Ella was ordered to observe bed rest, as well as to eat well in order to recover faster. So far, the blonde has not fully realized that she is actually alive. Her friends are running around her, helping her with every little thing. Looking at them, the lady realizes that the decision to return was more than correct. Lucas knew that he could die if he overloaded his body again, but he did it anyway. We really need to be careful. We would not like such a fragile piece to be destroyed. There is much to be done. It was clear that Reina would stop the crash. The maiden did not expect that this life would belong to her. Probably, because of her, everything is falling apart. Lunch is ready, the maid informed about it. Marcia also asks how the mistress feels, hoping for the best. A strange feeling, never before had the maiden been treated in silence. Such was the situation when she first came to the estate. The baby is helped to sit on the bed. Lucas holds out a spoon. The soup is made from the best products available. Of course, the heroine has nothing against eating, but the filling of the plate makes you think, there is something useful to get better. The princess resists. She does not want to eat something so terrible in appearance, but her father continues to ask to feed her. Castiel spoke to Theo immediately after everything that happened. Ella likes the boy, so she keeps him close to her. But next time, it's better to be more useful. The young man only received, but did not give anything in return. He must become stronger. He fell because he did not know how to do it. The father apologizes for the fact that, while preparing for the birthday of the great princess, he completely forgot about his daughter's holiday. He did not even know the date. Bliss never got anything like a holiday anyway. She was always alone. If she wasn't Lucas's daughter, she probably would have gotten even less. Diva does not understand why they are asking her to please. She did not believe. She thought that Lucas would kill her. She thought that he was an enemy. It turned out that this was not the case at all. The heroine's father's love is quite enough. She does not ask for more. But the man himself wants to make his idea a reality. When Ella made a gift, the young man was happy. It was something like a surprise. Once the little girl gave him a beautiful pendant. Castiel is in a dungeon, where many demonic creatures, if they want to live, must give the location of Korea. It's too much, but the man will deal with everyone in turn if necessary. Everyone knows what the demon did, but they are still covering it up. The clever little one planned to storm the Duke without any preparation, even though his subordinates at the lowest stage of development should still understand. It's annoying to deal with garbage, but the brunette has to make sure that all the work is done perfectly. He shouldn't let Lucas down. On the day of the demon taming ceremony in Hadrian's estate, many terrible things happened. At that time, the girl chose peace on her own, knowing which door she should enter in order to find herself again next to her father, whom she also chose. If something happens to Eleonora, the world will end. Every day she lives with this thought. After she almost started the mechanism of destruction, she tries to live carefully. The current life is different from the past, so it is unusual. But in this world, in addition to constant self-improvement, as it turned out, there is still much that can be done. If Bliss were a lady, she would not celebrate a single birthday. But in this reality, she has already celebrated several times. The more the heroine spends time surrounded by her loved ones, the more familiar they hear the new name, which has become real. After the first event, the lady finally accepted Lucas as her father, because by that day it was no longer possible to deny his sincerity. The purpose of life has changed a lot. The maiden does not understand why the swords of the Black Sea ended up in the human world, although they can destroy it with the help of force. Today, the little girl goes to the training ground again to watch the training of the student Bian. They are friends after all. Theo is now away. The Duke sent the boy to the magic tower. It was decided that he will fully master the taming technique from the professionals. Diva did not want the man to leave. She was the only one to whom he could confide his feelings, so she allowed him to make a decision. The brunette wants to continue to protect Her Highness, but even he understands that if everything continues in the same way, he will be of no use when the lady is in danger. I managed to get so far, being a descendant of the Yaman tribe, thanks to the princess and the duke, who saved him. Everything got better. The girl promised that she would wait. She knew that the boy was becoming more perfect every day. He managed to achieve a lot. The magicians of the tower, seeing his growth, tried to keep him by his side. No matter how much one wants the best for Tiorka, if his ego is not near the lady, she will have trouble. He cannot be allowed to stay there. Ella looks in love in her father's eyes. Because she worries about the young man more than anything, she doesn't want to explain everything again, so she runs away. Seeing how Lucas is strongly attached to the girl, it is clear that in this world everything is different. Everyone wants the best for her. Not only the swords and the father, but also Theo, who becomes a mage and not a knight, remain nearby. After Priscilla was executed, the city, which was destroyed and so unpleasant, flourishes and develops. Due to the actions of the heroine, the future that she already knew gradually began to change. In her past life, the lady was not so attentive to details. Alex meets a girl on the training ground. During this time, he became even cuter than before, and it seems that he is very proud of it. The character of the guy is the same as that of Bian. In fact, minimal changes in the future do not have much meaning. It's good that nothing has happened yet. If something from what happens will cause a huge wave, then Ellie will change the future. The man noticed the princess's fixed gaze and asked why everything was like that. She just waved it off. The girl does not know what can be changed. Alex was supposed to die this year. Everything would have happened because of one demon in the ranks. Being Bliss, the heroine found out about what happened by following Bian. At that time, she thought that she would use her weakness against the enemy. In the end, the thoughts were discarded when it turned out that Alex was brutally killed by demons. Now the blonde has become a dear person for the princess. This time she will not lose anything because she cannot afford it. That same hour has come, as far as is known. But the heroine does not know when the incident will happen, so she decided to be with her friend as often as possible. The blonde is constantly joking, and even now pretends that the girl has her eye on him. The guys in the hostel think so too. A girl constantly comes to visit a guy because he looks like a man. For her, this is a simple misunderstanding. It is necessary to explain that the lady is watching because she is bored. It seemed that she is worried about something, but she never tells anyone. It is never clear what is inside people. Everyone has their own thoughts and their own life. But this time in this world, the heroine must prevent Alex's death. Close people will forever remain close. Ladies do not intend to lose them. It is necessary to start building up strength, which is not so much yet. Lucas, whose ego is made of fragile glass, won't even put a stick in his daughter's hands, and even feeds her like a baby from a spoon, behaving in the same way. Doing it secretly will be problematic because of the swords of the Black Sea. Even if there are no obstacles, the energy of the sword is still variable. Castiel somehow appeared nearby. He understood that the lady was interested in training, even too much. It would be nice if the princess studied and became stronger, but there is no need to make things so complicated. She needs to live in comfort, doing what she personally wants. Eleonora must live in safety, unfortunately. Every day the heroine simply has no choice. If there is no strength to stand on their 2 feet, nothing can be done in case of danger. The maiden does not believe that she is talking about such a person with Castiel. If Bliss found out about it, she would have fainted. Both the heroine and the friend have changed. The guy took out a camera. Someday a girl will break this layer for pictures. Everything and the truth will be fine. The man is sly about the fact that it's best to be idle and live life like a bug. The hero promised that he would personally make efforts to ensure that the lady received a proper education, and a conference was held on this topic. Lucas listens to him and turns to his daughter. He is touched that she thinks about him. It seems that she just wants to get involved in dangerous things. But no, the guys all put on glasses to be on the same page with a girl who also did it. Now the brunette will voice the subjects that the girl needs most of all. Castiel is the only brainy one here. I want to hear about martial arts. The most important thing for a little girl is the study of etiquette. With such a statement, the beauty fell out. She did not expect something like this. While he and Ella spent time, the hero realized a lot. He has an understanding of what kind of education is extremely necessary for an aristocrat. The brunette decides to ask how old the girl is. Bach said 5. But it was a long time ago. The Duke must name the correct answer. The young man counted everything down to the second. As he said earlier, the girl is already 14 years old. People at this age start preparing for the coming-of-age ceremony. At the age of 18, a child enters adult life for the first time. This will be the first official debut in secular society. You cannot hit the mud with your face. Representatives of many families will be present in the castle, wishing to congratulate. In secular society, the most important thing is, of course, etiquette. Unfortunately, among the swords of the Black Sea, no one knows about such a subtle science. Only Castiel is familiar with all the details. Eleonora does not agree to the conditions prescribed for her, but they calm her down. The best of the best will be hired to train. The girl has enough fame thanks to her father's name. The ceremony does not seem as necessary as it might seem. Being Bliss, I managed to master many things, but everything was for the sake of survival and safety. In today's life, other knowledge is necessary. A man would like a girl to gain knowledge in all areas that it is impossible for them to master. Oratorical art, for example, is used to attract the interlocutor to oneself. The position in society will affect the desire of others to gravitate towards Eleonora. For some reason, Castiel is sure that the maiden will easily demonstrate her abilities. If you don't like it, you can always quit. Once the man says so, the heroine agrees. She hates studying, but after his words, she can't voice it. The girl does the same. She still knows how to stand up for herself. They won't tell Biana anything yet. After Ellie listens to all the education lessons, then it's time. Preparation for a man is not so easy. The Duke hopes that his daughter will not give up halfway. The girl promises that everything will be in the best possible way. While the head contacts the teacher, the heroine should prepare herself morally. The only desire of the parents is the well-being of the children. The brunette couldn't help but agree with the words that are so wise. Now he is more interested in Ella's education than anyone else. Glad that the maiden listened calmly, they did not think what they would say if the beauty refused everything except the sword. In any case, everything turned out. You need to try for Eleonora's sake and become much softer to make it easier. The blonde could not have imagined that he would become so attached to the one who was destined to die. He had not lived for hundreds of years. The only and most precious being is the Duke's child. He wants her to be safe and always by his side. Before it is too late, the girl must learn to stand up for herself alone. The man is still present in the beauty's life and will do everything possible to ensure that she is always happy, no matter what. Not only Castiel, but also everyone else knows that the main character is no longer what he was before. Literally, everything has changed in him. Korea is an intelligent type. Ella can be used again. But in this case, the man will protect her with the help of his own life. The friend is not at all disappointed in the state of the young man. They all have similar thoughts and feelings. Not only the Duke has changed, but also everyone else. During the time that the swords of the Black Sea spent together with Ella, it was as if they learned to experience the full range of emotions anew. Whatever choice His Highness makes, it will be the will of his team. No other is given. The girl began to receive lessons in etiquette. She decided that everything is not so bad. It will only be useful to her in the future. It was time for the first lesson. The governess came to the room and introduced herself as Mrs. Anna Nevada. The lady has a noble origin, is a graduate of the academy, majoring in music. I would like to hope that everything will be fine in their classes. It's so embarrassing that you want to sink underground. The girl needs experience with the aristocracy. She didn't manage to deal with them in her past life. To begin with, the heroines are handed etiquette book number 1. Then they correct the length of the step and then work out the posture. I want to do everything right now, but in my past life, the girl reached the top of the tower. I need to finish everything as soon as possible. No one told Bian anything, and when he arrived at the estate, he learned that it turns out that Ella will be taught by Tourette. If she studies well, he will become the best. The man entered the girl's room, but found her on the floor. Corsets are terrible. They don't allow her to breathe normally. Helping the beauty to sit down, the young man asks what happened and why things are somehow related to it. If the lady had been attacked, she would have been damaged. This is the first time she has encountered something like this. Such inhumanity obviously drives her crazy. The tutor overwhelmed the princess with work from the very first day. She did not expect that the maiden would study so hard, so now she sings odes. The blonde asks if the teacher is really the problem. If so, he can easily get rid of it. The girl almost hits the guy because he is screaming. It is not clear what. Alex picked up all this from his teacher. Now, due to the authority of the duchy, Lucas has many close people, as well as those who pointed the blade of the sword at him. Bian distracts from his thoughts. He is always ready to help the lady and get rid of someone else. In general, he came to talk about training. The blonde trusts the man and his skills, but if he continues to behave too sweetly, she will find another. Blue-eyed, that the heroine has a sense of dignity and confidence. It is precisely such people who are most needed on the battlefield. Ella will be trained without any nonsense, achieving only the best. Now it's time to start training. It is always necessary to start when the student reaches a certain condition. Resting for another 5 to 10 minutes will definitely not work. Eleonora has improved her posture and etiquette in general. She is praised already at the next class. Obviously, the baby has been practicing a lot. Today, the maiden meets Reina. After that incident in the castle, she often visits the Duchess. The first time she came to express her gratitude, and then not only. It is good that the lady earned the trust of such a person. But at the same time, she was also involved in the affairs of the royal family. The girl still will not be chosen to ascend the throne. She lives like a plant in a greenhouse. But it is enough that you can visit the savior. Surely Ella is really looking forward to her debut. It seems that everything is being organized personally by the Empress. Reina has also reached the age of participation, and Venor has become better, so she needs to go out into society, preferably as soon as possible. Like mother, girl is nervous, evening dress, dance partner, all this is too complicated. The friend reassures her that there will be a lot of people who want to dance with the princess. In fact, she only knows Garnier and Eleonora. She is afraid of the others. The blonde joked that the snake must be dropped in order to be free. The girl objected. The baby is like her child. She does not want to lose him. The Duchess herself hasn't really thought about a dance partner yet. It's just not interesting to her. They should just dance. Nothing more. It's much easier that way. The blonde reads an even monologue. There must be tender feelings for the escort, and all this is more important than it seems. It seems that she still thinks of the dinner dance as something romantic. If Bliss were an ordinary teenager, she would be happy with such a thing too. Look for beautiful moments in the dance, already in the past. Before, Bliss always wanted to do something like this with Edwin, but it seems that everything is over. Memories make, on the contrary, feel sadder. In the new world, there will never be anything like that. If something happens, thinking about someone as her partner, the lady returns to Theork, but the heroine herself is surprised by such thoughts. The heroine must have lost her mind, since they haven't seen each other for a long time. Alex could do well too, but according to the blonde, he looks more like a dog. Reina goes through the options and almost reaches Theo, the child who was with her in the castle. It is clear that the princess was upset, but they still have time. Despite the fact that the Duke and others care about Ella, she is insensitive. So if someone strange confesses to her, it will be bad. A rustling was heard in the garden. The two did not immediately understand what was happening. Lucas could be seen in the distance, and Anna was next to him. It is impossible for someone who is completely disinterested in people to be around someone who is not really a demon. An aura of romance emanates from those two, but this becomes a little uncomfortable. The lady freezes in horror and wants to run away. Reina wants to open her mouth to say something, or rather to comment, but she is being gagged. There is no point in talking about anything. There is no evidence, but the little girl does not want to hear anything about her father's love affairs. He has the right to do whatever he wants. Every time the girls came across the statue of Ella, everyone thought it was strange, but this man just laughed. The father still loves his daughter. The golden statue is wonderful. The eyelashes are very similar to those of the princess. This situation is ambiguous. Not so long ago, Michaela asked the Duke to be more friendly to people, so much better. A lot of time has passed since the teacher arrived, and I haven't even been able to meet her personally yet. It seems absurd. People are more subtle and gentle creatures than it might seem. The hired staff are paid a fee corresponding to their services, but this is not enough. In the future, it will be more difficult to interact with Ella and her friends. You need to start practicing right now. People say that everything changes depending on the attitude towards them. The children from the hostel have also changed a lot thanks to the lady. The man decided that he would still try to do something. Now he tries to be more friendly towards the beauty. The woman noticed that Ellie is very smart. She is probably still not very familiar with manners, but she is trying. The girl is one of the best among her peers. It is a great honor for Anna to teach such a wonderful child. If you look at the image of His Majesty, You can immediately think that he treats the girl well and supports her in everything. The family of the aristocrat only has a title. She is the only child, so there is no one who could continue their bloodline. The father suddenly disappeared. The mother was already having a hard time. And now, alas, they barely make ends meet to keep the house. With such a person as the heroine, it is unlikely that anyone would want to marry her. But the Duke thinks differently. It seems to him that the heroine is very good. The girl hopes that in the future she will meet an equally good person who will take care of her. Then everything will be fine. In addition to all this, Annie wants to discuss something important. The conversation will drag on for a long time. They can still drink tea. Eleonora released everyone to talk, but not everyone arrived. Michaela and Bian went shopping. Kuhn was leaving for an inspection. Only the most inscrutable and the bear remained, which is a little strange. The guys did not like what was said, because they are even older. Diva decides to get to the point. She wants to know if anything strange has been noticed behind her father lately, just to understand. It is possible that a man has a beloved person. Of course. This is hardly believed. Usually he does not think about anyone except himself. Warren only noticed that lately the hero often talks to Anna. This is, perhaps, the only person he knows. You can't judge only because of some meetings. The Duke definitely can't love people. It's in his blood. Barbaha tries to understand why the lady is interested. It is obvious that she has some idea. If a man falls in love, it will be fine. The little girl can always ask a direct question, and she will be answered immediately. The heroine did not notice how the topic of discussion entered the room. The red-haired man almost gave them away, but they had to shut him up so that he would not talk for nothing. The wolf knows that the hostess has a free schedule for the day. I wonder where he's going. The young man planned to drink tea with his daughter's teacher. The brunette sees for the first time that he voluntarily went to meet a man. The guys decided to go and follow the atmosphere between the two topics. In fact, everything seems problematic. The girl doesn't hear anything, so she demands to get closer. Baha refuses. He wants to leave anyway. His legs are swollen. He needs to lie down. It looks as if Her Majesty is jealous, because she thought that her father's love belonged only to her. If the others also tried to reincarnate, they would understand the point. Some other person would become Lucas's weakness. If the guy had sincere feelings, it would be terrible. You will have to dig into it even more carefully to understand what's going on. It is necessary to trace with the help of magic. The girl does not believe that the heroine is worried because of something like this. There was no such thing before. It seemed to Anna that there was someone in the bushes. The Duke asked her not to worry. It was difficult not to notice that she did not touch the tea. The girl is not feeling well. It's a pity. The man went to meet her and invited her. And here it is. The mind cannot fathom. After the end of the tea, the lady walks away with a bottle in her hands. She could not bring herself to pour it into the drink. The voice of Corey is heard, which is so frightening. The heroine's mother is dying, and she feels sorry for a certain Lucas. This is wrong. Today they were watched. But the second time, everything will have to be done. There is little time left, only a few days. The only thing a man has to do is keep his word and save the aristocrat's mother. You just need to send the Duke and put him out of order. That's all. Now even a light poison will be fatal for him. They will wait for the brunette. She will do everything. She doesn't know how exactly she will do it, but she hopes for the best until the end. Alex walks forward along the corridor with his friends. He noticed the princess's teacher in the window. It is strange that she is alone in the garden. The man ran outside, not staying to talk. He found a strange object in the grass. It glowed. Anna must have dropped it. The next lesson ended. As soon as the door closed, Her Majesty opened the book. She almost gathered all the necessary information. It turned out that an aristocrat from a tiny village on the outskirts, her childhood and life as a whole, were filled with difficult trials. Lucas could save the lady if this is the reason she came to the estate. There is even more chance to be convinced of sincerity. It is better to take a step back than to hasten the end of the world. The maiden opens her staff. She has not gone so far in her methods for a long time. By this time, the woman should have left through the main gate, but for some reason, she is still in place. Alex is standing next to her. Bian's student holds out a brooch. Obviously, it belongs to a lady. A strange figure is engraved on the reverse side. What is there is not at all similar to the formula of protective magic. It is not known where it was found. Since the thing was found on the territory of the castle, it will be necessary to give the ornament to be examined. With the last of her strength, the lady asks to stop. The brunette starts to cough. Korea was right. There is definitely a chance to get inside. The body is enveloped by dark energy. The appearance has changed a lot. The half-demon is smiling terribly, rushing at the guy standing next to him. He is surprisingly alive. They cover their mouths with their hands so that the young man does not scream. Behind you can hear a scream. It is loud enough to block your ears. The Duchess has appeared. Her friend must be released. It will be worse. The woman's body is possessed by demons. The same thing happened to the princess that day, a few years ago. Now the human is a mindless puppet. In the end, Castiel's words are remembered. Ella must know about powerful demons that cannot be avoided. The strong use human weaknesses, the power absorbed by monsters, comes from the human body. This is an extremely dangerous thing. As soon as this happens, the victim loses consciousness, and the head gradually cracks from everything inside. The baby made the journey and came back when they tried to capture her. She was incredibly lucky that she managed to become a human again. The danger of powerful demons has been known for a long time. When a victim is used as a vessel and absorbs energy, it is thrown away. Everything that the lady knows came from Korea. He hides in the body of people in all possible ways, like a coward. Bliss asked several times to leave him during the collaboration, but she was always brought back. What happened that time is not enough, and it happens again. The girl reveals protective magic in time. Alex is covered, and at this moment, he takes the sword in his hands, realizing that it is right. Diva has not recovered her strength yet. If she uses much, her body will not be able to withstand anything. No one will come to help. The demon has put up a barrier. No one will be able to see or hear anything. The battle is hidden. It's getting bad. The blonde can't control the wand. The magic protection can fall at any moment. Alex steps forward to protect the princess. Despite his young age, he has great strength. But that's not all. The monster will reward for loyalty and kill in front of the owner. It will be nice to see the expression on his face. The girl completely forgot that today is the day when a friend will die in a duel. She is in a panic. A lot of butterflies appeared from somewhere. A figure steps out of the shadows. Of course, it's Theo. He arrived early. It was difficult to detect the battle because of the barrier, but everything worked out. The princess was in danger. The assistant had to return. Bayan's student also says that he is fine. He is happy that he was able to try to resist and survived. It doesn't matter what ability Tiorka has. Death is still waiting for him. There is no point in resisting the situation. The blonde warns that there is no ordinary demon in front of them. He can hurt and make everything end. The man promises that he will take care of everything. First, you need to block the attack with a call. It is strange where the child has so much strength, which he uses extremely talentedly, binding the woman's body. Maybe you need to retreat, but that was not the case. Lucas appeared. His old enemy dares to appear in the mansion without permission. Korea will not leave so easily. They will not allow it. The understanding of their imminent defeat came unconsciously. The girl smiles at her father. She did not think that she would be happy that he would arrive. The demon is bored that he decided to create something similar. It annoys the Duke. Preparations in the underworld are almost complete. Now the man has strength, but he is losing it. Everything will end. The woman's body makes a loud scream. The blonde realizes that if he continues, he will crush the girl with his magic. Finally, everything was over. The demon ran away. What happened was that Korea was watching all the time and attacked secretly, using everything to its advantage. Perhaps the teacher is also to blame, but looking at her condition, it seems that they could at least listen to the side's version of events. In her past life, Bliss had seen an empty shell die many times. This time they would try something new. Another incident with an attack ended safely. Alex did not die. What a relief for the future. The heroine is still thinking whether her father really lost his strength. That demon hinted that the man is no longer the same as before. Something has changed from his past life. In the midst of the chaos, the ladies were sent to rest in the room, and questions about Lucas remained without a clear answer. Anna was the first to come in. She bowed a lot as an excuse. When her mother became worse, a monster came to the estate. He informed about the method of treatment. The girl was not going to poison Lucas, but it was still difficult for her. Korea used the despair of the person and fear for the family. After all, It was the governess who made the decision. Putting herself and others in danger, she was forced to leave the estate. Today, as it turned out, the lady is returning to her hometown. The Duke asks not to tell, but Theo decided to tell. The girl is worried. What Anna did was undoubtedly wrong, but she cannot be blamed for the fact that in desperation, she had to grab a rotten rope. The Duke sent Warren and several knights to look for traces of demons. Father is also not in the estate. The man promised that he would not allow what the baby does not want to happen. In any case, he is doing the right thing. Before going to rest, the lady thanks the man for returning to her. Without Theo, disaster would have followed. The main character swore at the moment, when he was accepted, that he would protect his mistress to the very end, no matter what. For the sake of the princess, again and again he will be ready. For some reason, the words caused a violent reaction. The heart began to beat at a frantic speed. The guy needs to say hello to everyone else. Even Alex met him on the way here. It seems that he is doing well. The man asks if the lady is worried about her friend. It seems to him that she is more worried about the student Bayan. When the two exchanged letters, the girl said that she was also looking forward to the day when the boy would return. It seemed that the lady felt the same, and everything was fine with her. But for some reason, they did not ask about him. Somewhere the brunette had learned such a facial expression. It turned out that in the tower, he learned everything he could. They say that with age, the hero will cope even better than now. The young man says that he has the right to visit the upcoming banquet. The girl still hasn't decided who will go with her to the dance. It was necessary to be ready for this. Being a princess, the maiden gathered many different people around her. Theo is mistaken. While he was in the tower, it seemed that Ella would be engaged in secular affairs. But everything was not so. The beauty lay at home, met with her only friend, and protested against her father. The boy, who did not know anything about the details, began to get very worried. He does not know what to do, even after receiving recognition. There are still people who hate barbarians. Theo was distracted from the chaotic flow of thoughts. They were too close to each other. Because the heroine approached. It seems that the man heard everything. The girl repeats. She talked about the debutante ball and asked the magician to go with her. The reaction is kind of strange. The hero likes that he will have to be next to Her Majesty. But the matter is completely different. There is no certainty that the young man can be around. He is still not close to the princess. The baby hits his friend on the forehead, asks him not to say that. There is no need to think that something is missing. Turka was just embarrassed. As a dance partner, a brunette seems to be the most suitable. It is better to be close to someone you know well. Of course, you will have to circle in a hall full of people, but it seems that the couple will manage somehow. It's not that bad. The lady, Savant won't down for anything, he will make her shine brighter than anyone else. The day of the ball has arrived. It's already noisy since the morning. The royal family is present at the debut. You need to prepare well. Maybe the lady has played with Reina so often that she doesn't feel the tension. Today, she is in a beautiful mood. Marcia smiles. Her mistress will attract everyone's attention. The maid does not think that she flatters too much, just in moderation. Despite unexpected incidents, it was still possible to organize and hold a banquet. Perhaps you should ask Son about the dress. He yawns while sitting on the bed. Lately, the animal has been behaving differently. Perhaps the dragon is going through puberty. Otherwise, it is impossible to characterize his detachment. Father looked into the room. He paid a compliment, but noticed that everyone in the hall would probably fall in love with the beauty. That would be a problem. The debutante ball at the Brandt house is so lively, as if nothing happened. These people don't even think about what actually happened. Bliss used to force others to obey with brute force. Now she has to smile welcomingly. The girl never had the opportunity to talk to people like the Empress. While some are fighting to prevent destruction, others are enjoying life. There are many changes in this world. You need to follow the situations. The girl is not worried at all. She is sure that everything will be fine. Wherever the lady goes, she hears only that she has become even more beautiful than in childhood. Edwin is on the balcony. He is closely watching the beauty. For some reason, she attracts him. She barely seems familiar, as if they have already met. The woman completely avoids eye contact, trying to hide in the crowd. Eleanor is sad, of all possible people. It was Kramer who had to meet her eyes. She feels strange. Since the man is from a noble family, he must be present. As soon as we manage to meet each other's eyes, all the memories came alive. Reina's voice was heard from behind. She arrived with her partner. It turned out to be Garnier, who easily turned into a human. Waking up one day, the lady did not understand who was in front of her, but after turning, she added 2 plus 2. An unusual power, truly. Although they say that due to the influence of the gap, strange monsters can appear, the heroine never thought that one of them could change shape. The side dish decided to help the girl. He arrived for the evening in the form of his mistress's partner. Perhaps Sinister also has the ability to transform. It would be much easier to communicate if something similar happens in reality. Finally, Theo apologized. He had already been waiting for it. It is impossible not to notice his beautiful outfit. It looks fantastic. The music started playing. It was time to go to the hall to dance your first dance together. They will see each other later. Reina will wave her hands when they have to return. The princess will be introduced properly, so that they will also become good friends. The couple ended up in the middle of the hall. For some reason, the girl thought that the man did not know how to dance at all, as he was engaged in research in the tower. Ever since Teorca came back, before the ball he practiced as much as he could. He hoped that he would be happier if the Duchess liked everything. Before the ball, in fact, the brunette practiced with Alex and Castiel followed the technique, giving instructions. He tried to show how it was right. Constant manipulations forced us to go forward without stopping. If we don't do everything right, we won't be able to dance with the princess, and that's the most important thing at the moment. With the man's current skills, it's no match for Her Majesty's dance. Alex gets up first and complains, although he himself agrees to help when asked. Teo still fulfilled his promise. He tried to improve his skills, so that in the end everything turned out. People around whisper that, what is left of Brant? She is wonderful. Even the barbarian knight dances quite well. It seemed that he was of a lower rank, of course. It was unlikely that the beauty had raised him with great care. It was of no use to her. The heroine has a very unusual taste, no matter how talented she is. But it will be difficult to raise such a person. Noticing how Teo has fallen, his partner asks not to be upset. They dance only for each other. There is no point in getting distracted. It is necessary to show skill to everyone present. The girl asks to take her by the waist. They have not practiced complex elements, but you should wipe the nose of the rude people. They do not know the rules of etiquette. The dancing couple looks like 2 beautiful swans. Their movements are repeated. But each time there are improvements, real art is revealed to people. Castiel, watching from the side, chuckles. He has never taught a boy like that, so now he reacts in about the same way. The dance is beautiful, but for the Duke, the two are too close to each other. The blonde is distracted from contemplation. An urgent letter came from Sir Warren to discuss everything. It is better to go to another room. The lady noticed that the father and the swords of the Black Sea were leaving the hall. The princess offered to stay for a while to follow the Duke. What the lady finally heard was something she would never have expected. Ella heard correctly. The lands of Rohan are collapsing. They are under fire. Half of the territory has already been destroyed, and the second is about to suffer the same fate. In the letter, it was written that the little princess has recently been interested in it. She needs to show it. On the way to the estate, Folk was ordered to check everything and report. The cracks have become much more serious. Because of what is happening, the imperial family sent someone. It seems that more information is not available. People of different races are hiding in that area, mostly gnomes, of course. It is known that elves are still standing aside. They have a strong character, and relations with other neighbors are very bad. There is no need to help them. They can handle it themselves. Rohan is the land that Ella wanted. It turned out that the area is full of resources, and then what the girl thought was quite reasonable. Faults often arise there, and until now, there were not so many people there. When the Emperor will understand that there are many resources in that place, it will be worse. Moreover, if the others learn about a race of a different origin, it will be even worse. The imperial family has always kept the duchy under control. Using this as a pretext, they may even try to intervene in Brant. It is necessary to urgently hold a meeting on countermeasures. As soon as the banquet is over, his lordship will go to a place that should be visited. The girl should not worry, but now she also wants to go. The young man believes that this is a dangerous mission. The collapse has already begun there. It is impossible to send a girl to such a harsh area. The blonde stands her ground. Her name is written there. The place is related to her, and directly. I want to remember the baby's trip when she was a child. This is also important to note. The girl has hope. You are a helper. So then there is nothing to worry about. The man got angry. The little girl is talking too recklessly. At least she needs to take all the knights from Brant's territory. Maybe it's better to go secretly altogether, if there is no other way out. Fathers will always worry about their children, regardless of what they will be. The maiden wants to become as great a man as the duke. She will have to go through a lot, so she can challenge herself. The words hit the very heart of His Majesty. He freezes with a shocked expression on his face that cannot be changed. The baby managed to grow up quickly. In fact, it seems that Lucas will destroy everything. He will probably use the Force to quickly deal with everything he needs. But if it continues like this, it will be complicated. The man understood that in this way they would not reach an understanding. They openly pressured him, so he would talk better after the banquet. The blonde nods. It is easier to agree. The princess assures Theo that everything is fine, especially since she has reliable security. The hero himself promised that he will always be there. So it's time to show himself somehow. It turned out that Lonk is also gathering in Rohan. Lately there have been many faults, and they continue to spread to the surrounding areas. The maiden nods. She is also aware. Someone is artificially creating problems. Although Pepe found out about it through rumors, they say that someone is intentionally creating faults. It is not known exactly, but rumors do not appear out of nowhere. It is for the same reason that the imperial family gathers strength. Some say that it is because of this. The heroine is a little worried. She has never heard of such a thing before. Something has changed. This was not the case in the past, which means that all the details will have to be sought. The servant is not sure where the stories about the truth originated. In addition to everything, there is something else that is extremely interesting. They often hear stories about elves and dwarves. These two races are hiding in Rohan. It is completely wrong to live in such a dangerous place. A plot of elves was discovered in those lands. It is secretive, but still, there were signs that someone broke in. They also say that two clans are probably at war. When word got out, the royal family and the Holy Chamber also tried to investigate it. In the end, nothing was discovered. But the land was already transferred to the Brant family. It is remembered that in the past life, there was a split in the land, long, like a chain. Races, driven into a corner by the policy of extermination of their kind, fought a war to simply survive. Both sides lost the war due to the attack of demons. In the past, the horror did not happen so quickly. There are faults involved. Pepe asks to be careful. This land is one big problem. You should not go there alone, if life is precious. In any case, the second is more important now. Until the lady gets in touch with the man, you need to learn more about fractures, their type, difference, and the like. If the girl had known that everything would happen like this, she would have taken some measures a little earlier so that nothing would happen. She thought that Rohan would be able to manage later. The rifts unexpectedly widen, and this conflict between the races adds fire. They are closely intertwined. They interfere. Leaning back on the bed, the lady hopes to solve everything as quickly as possible, before it becomes a disaster. Maybe it's not too late to think about it. The carriage was prepared in exactly the same way as Ella herself. She treats the trip quite easily, while Sinister, as usual, does not react very well. He looks like a disgruntled cat. The girl is impatiently waiting for the little dragon to feast on the creatures that came out of the cracks. The princess obviously arrived at the meeting place first. Waving helpers can be seen in the distance. 2 people were assigned to accompany Her Majesty on this journey for special protection. The 2 have grown a lot in the time that has passed. If there are only a few people, it won't be a big problem. The guys haven't changed at all. Again, as in childhood, the girls argue about who will go on the trip. Barbaha thinks that this time he should go, while Bian will train the knights. The blonde defends himself. In any case, he has already trained them. They will handle themselves, even if such a fool as the main character orders them. As a result, it turned out that Wolf won on the rock, scissors, paper. Of course, he did not doubt his abilities. First of all, you should make a plan. They will start from the surroundings and move forward. For some reason, the carriage is going to the ruins. The maiden has something necessary there. That place is called the Old Sanctuary of the Elves land set. Now there is only one scorched earth with cracks, but for the girl there is something more important. Sun's baby shrunk and hid in the lady's clothes. The group goes outside and enters the castle. There is silence. The atmosphere is eerie. Notes Alex. It feels like ghosts live inside. He didn't know how right he was. It is difficult to analyze the cracks, but they can be divided into two main groups. One is a place for animals and monsters. The second is for different species. Due to the recent problems, the magic has mixed and the space has become distorted, causing the creatures within the rifts to become violent. In her previous life, while working as part of the squad, Bliss later discovered the relics she needed after some time. At that time, due to a number of reasons, the monsters became much stronger. But this time, everything will be completely different. It will be easier. Duval tells everyone to concentrate. Since they have already developed a strategy, you just need to follow it. Elves, carefully protecting their territory, made it so that it was impossible to get to it, but the detachment still succeeded. The lady's plan is to bring the abandoned relics back to their owners, so that they should be. Around the ghosts, although they are made only of spiritual bodies, they are the same as other monsters. A man can suppress their essence by doing what he can. A monster made of spiritual bodies cannot be affected by physical objects. The guy is doing great. All that remains is to go forward so that everything will end in the best possible way. Theo can try to find the monster's nest in the rift with the help of his powers. You need to do everything quickly to save energy. Something is wrong. It feels like the princess has been to places before. She didn't know where the cracks were, but she showed the exact point. It must be. The girl is seeing the area of Rohan for the first time, but she just remains calm. Sometimes it seems as if a man does not know the woman in front of him at all. It seems as if she is a completely different person. Bayan saw and heard Ella's instructions, and as one of her fans, he does not understand how it is possible to be so smart. Now it is clear what Eleonora meant. She really behaves correctly in all situations. Even if a man wants a virgin to always sit in his arms in safety, like a small child, he is not allowed to change anything. Baha will surely be incredibly angry because he was not lucky enough to see the lady in action in all her glory. Theo discovered a nest. The inner part of the dungeon is not easy, but there is an entrance. If you turn there, you might get lost. A mouse appeared, which was asked to help, of course. It will easily get lost. But since the night is nearby, there will be no problems. The sons clung to the man's cloak, tore it off, assuring that later there would be something more interesting and tasty. After half an hour, the dragon's stomach was full. Because he had eaten all kinds of monsters, it even helped in getting rid of them. The brunette finally discovered the door. There was a lot of webbing inside, and on the way there, the team seemed to encounter spiders. It is forbidden to touch anything around, so that the monster does not figure out where they are. The name of the place where the four entered is called the Spider's Grave. Any imposter will be eaten immediately. A favorite technique of monsters is an attack from above. Given the order to group up, the blow must land on the head. Something strange was heard. Bian does not see how a shadow appeared behind him, so he continues forward. Everything was finished. You can rest a little. The princess herself seems to be going somewhere. Over time, Ella found a place where elf artifacts are stored. She was incredibly lucky. Previously, Bliss could not go inside because of the monsters. She is sure that the race will be grateful to get their things back. A frightened look searches the cocoon. There is nothing there, although it should be. Friends have reported trouble. Mr. Bayan has disappeared. Something begins to happen. The girl did not notice when the fog around became so dense. The heroine screams for everyone to quickly cover her face. She is terrified, so she did not react in a few seconds. Theo cannot find the companions, even with the help of the Force. Sinister has also disappeared. A dark figure can be seen ahead. For someone who was brought up to be careful, Her Majesty has good reflexes. The Virgin is still conscious. The spider tomb of the temple, what was hidden in it, was not just a relic of the elves, but also an abandoned demon. Since the baby grew up among spiders, she developed special abilities in necromancy and became a master of various poisons. The princess opened the protective barrier. This is all good, but I wonder how long she will last in this situation. The girl had to quietly hide in the spider's nest. For some reason, Parika did not sleep, but on the contrary, got out. It doesn't matter that they are seeing each other for the first time. The blonde will go to the place where Korea lives, because she is preventing him. As soon as Lucas disappears, the master will become the new king of demons. The red-haired woman is angry that they are asking her to help him. Then he is the best for her. She will never forget his special attitude. The girl turns and, using the opportunity, tries to escape. She urgently needs to find Theo and Alex to go after Beyond. The blonde could not have expected that Korea would show up to Parika. She was wrong again. Now it is necessary to move further away so that the fog does not take over. The vision is blurred. It is getting worse. But the substance got into the body. A demon is chasing after it, which grabs it by the throat. As soon as it is possible to bring the princess to His Majesty, he recognizes the beauty. She really thinks that it will be real. As Eleanor has no right to say Korea's name out loud, she better keep quiet until the situation worsens. A simple person, like the one standing in front, cannot have such great strength. She again puts up a barrier. The man promised that Parika would become part of the family if he brought a woman. These are rather unusual promises for a demon. The master saved the girl and was the only one who found her in this labyrinth, from which there was no way out. It was necessary to think more. It was necessary to come earlier and take the redhead. The reason for which the princess rushed to this place was salvation. In her past life, when no one was around, Parika was the only one who approached her. She became a younger sister, a true family. At the end of the story, the heroine died on the battlefield.